Yes, everyone, you know what time it is. It's your boys Jack and Dave here, and we're in Singapore this time, and it isn't raining. It looks like it could be nice and dry for us. This could work out this time around, this sort of friendly. And it unfortunately is probably against some type of opposition that maybe is a bit easier, you could say, that we
Mhm.
could be coming up against. I'm not really sure what the score lines are. I mean, last time we came up against Leicester City, everyone was going for 365 to nil, 12 nils, 15 nils. Maybe this time it's a bit more realistic, but Dave, I mean, what are your thoughts ahead of this match? And of course, I mean, I think we'll get onto it. There's a big elephant in the room, and he's
Yeah.
going to touch down in New York sometime soon. It's Mr. Joe Lewis. He's being indicted over from the UK. So we're going to have to maybe somehow fit in that into some type of sports discussion as well.
Oh, don't worry, we'll fit that in today. But look, let's start with the starting lineups. First of all, everybody, welcome. Hopefully, we enjoy this watch along together against what for me sounds like a posh yacht club. So hopefully, we can smack at least 10 by them, especially playing Ange ball. If we can create 30 odd chances against West Ham, I'm sure we can do the same here again today. Starting lineup is interesting, though. It looks like he's determined to try and make Pedro Porro fit in at right back, which I like. You
Hmm.
know, he's working with him. Also, speculation around Romero's commitment has all been cleared up. Jack, me and you have always argued that he's always been committed, and with words that Romero have come out with over recent days, speaking about his commitment to Tottenham and turning down moves this summer to stay at Tottenham, that's a huge plus. So our main centre back is committed. Um, Now, Jack, this is something I actually wanted to speak about yesterday. That sort of irked me, right?
Hmm.
It's the Ben Davies situation. Now, I've seen an article put out yesterday,
Enlighten me.
talking about Ben Davies could be a centre back this year, this, that, and the other. And it's like, it really annoys me. It's like we do this because we're being buttered up to the idea that these guys are going to stay around and form a part of the squad. We might get one centre back, which Ange sort of resigned himself to in the press conference the other day.
Sure.
And it's an absolute joke. And for me, it's just softening us up. When are we going to learn at this football club? The guy played left back, left side of centre back, left wing back, now centre back. Just go and buy in that position. I mean, this right now, Davies as a centre back is an absolute pointless exercise, Jack.
Yeah. No, it is.
Ange Postecoglou has been calling for centre backs. He's looking more and more pissed off by the day that nothing is sort of arriving in the door, despite how many links there's been. And now he's having to play Davies alongside Romero, and our defence is the weakest. Is our weakest area of the pitch, and yet we're pissing about with it, and it's
Yeah.
absolutely annoying me.
When you have, is it less than 3 weeks? It's practically
Yeah,
less than three
it's
weeks,
like
and
17 days.
until Brentford, you really do, scratch your head. Like, is it better to get players like Solomon through the door sooner than these center backs? Maybe not. You would rather actually sign a guy like Solomon, as good as he's been, probably a day or two, one of the last sort of signings. And I understand like things sort of work out how they do, and maybe certain things kind of, are more opportunistic than others, and they maybe might be moving quicker than others. But at the same time, like, what your priorities are. And Spurs just seem to have once again kind of lost track of those priorities. Another thing I would mention, though, is that I know it does seem like a useless exercise, and we absolutely agree with each other on that. But when it
Mm.
comes to these center backs, Dave, when you only have 17 days left before you're approaching this Brentford game,
Yes,
you are
there's
going to have to pick between amongst the pretty bad options that you have. And that's what's sad, is that he's undergoing kind of similar, how would you put it, similar kind of mental battles, and kind of
yeah,
tactical personnel battles that, previous managers have had to go through, which is, they might think that most of these guys are going to be shipped out by the time that the first game kicks off against in the Premier League, but it looks like it's actually the opposite, and that most of them are going to be staying, and you're going to have to figure out a way to make it work with these guys, like previous managers have. And it's just sad to see, Dave. We all thought that it was going to be actually more obvious than it ever was before. It was obvious before, but now it was more painfully obvious, and yet it still doesn't seem to be happening. And also, as well, like I hate to say it, I feel like now it's not as much the pointless exercise, because he actually does have to figure out maybe some type of center back pairing that does work, even though we know it won't work,
yeah.
and even though we know it isn't good enough. He is going to have to figure out a way to sort of
I
make
get it.
something work, and that's what's sad.
I get it. But I don't want to hear any more of that. Oh, if Ange, oh, Ange picks some this, because that's what's going to happen later on in the season, right?
Mm,
We know what these guys, they'll give you a few good months and they cannot keep up to with the intensity physically or mentally, and then everything starts to clap and unravel. We've seen this a number of times with these guys, and it's sort of like then we make excuses for these guys and blame the manager. I can already see what's going to happen further down the line if we do not get this sorted out. And it's just an absolute piss take that we're even forcing Ange to do this,
yeah.
knowing how bad it was last year. An absolute oversight by the club. And it's just annoying me because, you're going to, I just know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just a joke. Anyway, moving on to a plus, Udoji at left back.
Yeah,
I
let's
mean,
go through this lineup, Dave. We have it on screen for everybody, for the Harris Army. Everybody, if you haven't already, do smash that like button, please. We will get to your comments in just a second. Thank you for all tuning in. We already have well over 150, it looks like, in the house already. So everybody, do smash that like button, please. Vicario is in goals. Pedro Porro is starting again at right back. Dave was talking about that continued faith in him.
yeah.
Romero is starting at right side at center back. I'm wondering where all the Romero haters are today after he's pledged his allegiance to the club and his love to his club. It seems like
Can
they've
we
gone a
just
bit
stop
quiet
having
and
these
missing today.
nonsense convos now? Can we just stop having these nonsense convos over this guy? There's been more convos on Romero than there has been Dyer, Sanchez, or Ben Davies lately.
Can't question his love anymore. I mean, he's taken, apparently there were some bids that came in, and as well, he says this is the team he wants to play for during his best years, he said, during his prime years. It's just what you want to hear. Ben Davies at left-sided center back, that's going to be the trial experiment today. Destiny Udogi at left back today. He's looking like a man mountain. Papa Matasar, Daddy
Yes.
Sar, Dave, is going to be playing potentially at the number 6. Is he going to be number 6, number 8? I feel like Ange says he has confidence in him in all positions, kind of similar to Basuma. He has confidence in him in all positions. So are we going to maybe get an opportunity to see Basuma played a bit higher up and maybe Sar played a bit deeper? What do you think?
Look, Jack, I'm confident that the kid can play in either position, to be honest with you. Looking at what Basuma produced in the first half against West Ham and what I think he is best at, which is actually getting forward, doing the 1-2s, opening up play, making things happen. When you watch against West Ham, his best moment was link up play with Harry Kane, where he probably should have scored in the end, but it was a great save. I think Basuma's better going forward. So I'd like to see Basuma in an 8 along with the Madison and see Papa Matasar as that 6, Jack. Because
Yeah.
for me, Papa Matasar, I think, is a brilliant player. And I loved what Postecoglou has come out and said about the guy, that he's constantly smiling. He's a very good player. He can get around. He can do basically everything. So for me, when you look at the performance that he came on against West Ham in the second half, 10 times better than Ollie Skip. So I'm delighted to see Papa Matasar in this formation, as I asked for, over Ollie Skip, to see what he's like with this midfield. And I think you're going to see Papa Sarr offer a hell of a lot more on the ball, but also out of possession as well. So Sar, Dembele, Jack, aka Sar Boy, I cannot wait to see this guy going today. What's that song? Elton John, Starboy, or something like that.
Hmm.
He's a Sar Boy playing in the white. Da-da-da-da-da. Come on, I can't wait to see his debut.
And then we have James Madison playing, I think, his typical number 10 position. He's given, another start. And then Kulusevski, Kane, and Son. So pretty much the same lineup we had against Leicester City, bar Papa Matasar being injected into that lineup. I believe it was Højbjerg last time who was starting instead of him. On the bench, we have Brandon Austin, Emerson Royale, the GOAT, Region, Dyer, Tanganga, Skip. So it looks like Dyer and Tanganga might be the preferred sort of
Yeah,
backup options, at least at the moment in time. And then Skip is on the bench with Lo Celso, Højbjerg, Harvey White, Perisic, Alfie Devine, Monor Solomon, and Richarlison. Some notable absences would be Tanguy and
Jed Spence.
Dumbele yet again, Jed Spence yet again, and Joe Rodon yet
Yeah.
again. Any of those you want to start with, Dave?
Sanchez as well. I
Sanchez,
think
yeah.
Sanchez is on the bench. Um, I just don't think they're part of the plans, being brutally honest. Joe Roden, definitely not. Tanguy and Belly.
Is it
Look,
injury? Is it just made up conspiracies by myself that maybe he actually was getting thrown back into the team? What do you think it is?
look, I know he sort of picked up a knock in training there the last day, didn't he? And I get that. But for me, look, the fact that he hasn't seen any sort of minutes, Jack, it makes me question where he's at, because I did see reports just before I came on that, apparently Ange Postecoglou was convinced Lo Celso to stay around at Tottenham this season, and that he's been very impressed with what he's seen from him this pre-season.
Wow.
So for me, I wonder then, does that put Ndombele then to the back burner. Maybe we might end up looking to cash in, because I don't think Postecoglou would take both on. I think he'll take one or the other on, and it looks like Lo Celso could be winning that race, Jacko. How do you
Yeah,
feel about it?
I mean, that's how we put it from the beginning, right? Like we said, it
Mm,
was going to be a battle between those two to somehow fit in as like either the alternative number 10 to James Madison or as this other number 8. And it wasn't going to
mm,
be a place for both of them to stick around. And no, I don't really think anybody really thought that was going to be the case because they're
mm,
both on high wages and they've both been given 10,000 chances at this club to succeed. It'd be weird to give them both a chance yet again at the same time. And Lo Celso, someone who I've been maybe slightly more of a hater of, quite surprised, Dave. Very surprised. I thought he had
mm.
probably less of a love for the club than even Tanguy did. I know Tanguy
Yeah.
probably did far worse to the club in his sort of manner of acting and how he sort of gave up on us. But Gio Lo
Mm,
Celso kind of did it in a bunch of other different ways, just the way he always sort of seemed to show up for Argentina after a huge long injury, never really seemed to post anything on social media ever about the club. It's hard to even find him in a Spurs kit ever. You'd have to go all the way back to like 2018 or whatever it is
yeah.
to basically find him in a Spurs kit. So I don't know. It's a surprise, but this was sort of the thing with Postecoglou is that we knew he was probably going to revive one of them, and he was going to give one of them a chance.
Mm,
I wanted it to be Tanguy just because I like Tanguy a bit more. I think his skills and his overall ability is greater than Lo Celso's, but at the same time, it's not about who you are individually. It's about how you contribute to the team. And
yeah.
we said that Tanguy can't just be himself. He's going to have to change himself in order to fit Postecoglou's system and Postecoglou's team. Could be the case that Lo Celso actually was the one that did a better job sort of adapting himself and,
Yeah.
sort of fitting around what Postecoglou needs than maybe Tanguy is. But
Mm,
obviously speculating once again, but it could be the case that this isn't as big a knock as we think. And it maybe it's just the fact that while maybe he did have that knock or something like that, Lo Celso just took his opportunities and has maybe, surged ahead of him. Jed
mm,
Spence is a worrying one. I'll be honest. I think the fact that we again bought him last season under Antonio Conte, we sort of
mm,
gave him the benefit of the doubt that it was more Conte than it was Jed Spence. He then went over to Rennes, didn't really go too well over there. And now he's at Spurs again under a different manager, a very attacking manager, and he's not making much of an impression. It could be injury, but it's also hard to know whether the injury is really playing that much of a part in
mm.
it because Eric Dyer all of a sudden has now returned, back into the subs and back into the lineup. I guess despite him being given that excuse of injury,
But
a
what I
few
will
times.
say on that though, Jacko, is there's less in Dyer's position than what there is in Tanguy and Bele's position. And
And
like
Jet
I
Spencer.
think we went on tour with what, 9 centre midfielders. Ideally, you're probably going to whittle that down to probably about 6, maybe max 7.
Uh-huh.
So whereas with Dyer, when he comes back, he was always going to come back in as a backup option purely because the lack of numbers there. Not to do with talent whatsoever,
Yeah.
purely because the lack of numbers. Look, let's not write Ndombele off yet. We don't know, but the reality is the fact that he won't be seeing any minutes today at all is sort of concerning.
Yeah, let's get to the chat here and let's get through a few names. We have Orsham first and foremost in the house. He's saying Lion versus Cockerels. Indeed, my friend Terry Batts, good Spurs lineup. It's good to see that you enjoy it, Terry. Good to see you, my friend. Hotspur hippies in the house. Good to see you, Paul. He says, "Come on, you Spurs. It's rock and roll time." I like to see it, Paul. I love to see that, my friend. Bjorn Wandel's in the house. It's Ange Ball time. There was a beautiful clip actually of some Ange Ball just the other day. Bjorn, it was Emerson. Nice little cheeky Meg, building out from the back, it just gave me the right feelings. Tequila 316, Jackal, my man, it is raining. It's raining Joe Lewis's tears. It may waterlog the pitch. I imagine that Joe Lewis at his age might be out of tears, and also knowing how soulless he can be at times, who knows whether he can even shed a tear anymore. But Tequila, it is probably one of the most unexpected things that we were going to wake up to or even see last night was Joe Lewis somehow being, I guess, extradited by the Yanks. He's being brought over here, and knowing that, the relationship we have with the UK, I imagine he's not going to get out of this one too easily. Tenor Pool says, any way to watch it for free? I'm not too sure. Tenor Pool, we're going to be watching on Spurs Play tonight. Neil Shafton says, morning, you filthy animals. Good to see you, Neil. Wayne Bonner says, afternoon all. Finally, a Spurs game at last. Yeah, Wayne, hopefully this one doesn't get canceled, my friend. Neil Shafton says, Romero es un bien gaucho. Steve D says, morning, boys. Fierce competition on YouTube today. Everyone is doing a watch along. It's good to see
Yeah.
you in here, Steve D. Our mortal nemesis still deciding to show up and they keep us
Go
company.
on,
Good to see
Stevie.
you, Steve. Rudy Toots in here as well. The Singapore Stadium has a roof. Hope it's on. Yeah, it's good to see that they got, good to know they knew what to do considering what happened last time. Ozzy's in the house. I just need to get an upgrade on Davies, and the team is then decent. I agree with that. Ollie's in
Yeah.
the house as well. Hi, boys. Is the Danish Viking on his way to Spain? Confirmed now when he's not in the lineup. He is in the subs bench, but I do feel like there's been a lot of, movement, since that
Mhm.
last game. And I do feel like Højbjerg is more likely to be in an Atletico jersey than he is a Spurs jersey at the end of this summer. Ollie, big up to you, my friend. Jazz Fusion says Tim Sherwood masterclass incoming. Steve D, good to see you, my friend. And then we also have Ribsy in the house. He says, football, come on, you Spurs. Good to see you in here, Ribsy. We also have as well Joff Totten, Perth. He says, good evening, guys. Just had a nice roast dinner ready for the game. I mean, I imagine Perth is just, still kind of celebrating,
Mhm.
or Joff here is still celebrating being able to see the almighty Tottenham, Dave. And he's also celebrating seeing them again on TV with a nice roast dinner.
I'll enjoy it, Joff. What's the choice of meat? I need to know, my man.
Big up, Joff. Good to see you, my friend. Um, um, We have Wemberley as well. Afternoon, guys. If anyone had doubts that we have the worst ownership in world football, then at least those who have been now put to rest.
Mhm.
I mean, it's definitely some shady stuff right now.
Mhm.
Zebby D says, remember the style of play, if executed well, kind of hides the center back's weaknesses and protects them, but you need them to do well in the big moments. And I don't think
Mhm.
anyone really can in the squad. I
Mhm.
understand that maybe with this sort of style of play that the center backs might not meet. I mean, they might not need to make as many tackles
Mhm.
or interceptions as they would in a game, but at the same time, like they're going to need, like you say, to make big, crucial decisions. And if they get those wrong, it's basically a
Mhm.
goal. It's basically a two on
Mhm.
one, a 3-on-1, and you're more
Just
likely or not in the Premier League going to
mhm.
get punished for it. And also, they need to be really good in possession so that any of these sort of opportunities to try to counter us or to try to hurt us don't happen all that often. So I
Mhm.
would actually argue need to be a more sort of technically skilled center back as well as also clever center
Mhm.
back in this type of style of play because you're going to have to make the decisions you make can be very costly. Whereas if you're protected in a back five and you're sitting very deep, you often have a lot of guys sort of
Yeah.
standing right next to you that can usually help you out in case you make a wrong decision.
Yeah, exactly. Look, under Antonio Conte and under Jose Mourinho, they were more protected than ever. Now they're least protected than they ever will be. There's more expected of them. The backline's just not good enough, and the weaknesses will not be covered up. Look, it wasn't covered up against West Ham, was it?
No.
Let's stop this. I get the positivity and behind Ange and everything else, but if we really want Ange to succeed, let's stop being oblivious and stop making excuses for the real problems. That's ultimately going to end up undoing everything that he's trying to do. We've seen the other day, style of play will change, but that defense will not. And in order for us to win with the new style of play, it's about doing it in that back line. Let's just stop the excuses. Let's just stop the shit. But look, Jack, we'll get on to Dark Sun G Super Chat and also big up the Owlad as well. Good to see you in the building because I do want to get in and talk a little bit about the maybe Levy situation before kickoff. Or not
Okay. Dark
Levy,
Sun G
Jonas.
says, I like our starting lineup a lot. Sun to score. Come on, you Spurs.
Go on, Axel G. Big yourself up, my man. Look, I'm excited to see Sonny today. I'm predicting a big season from Sonny. I think he'll be hurting from last year. Unfortunate last year, carrying their injuries, broken cheekbone, playing through, then having to get surgery at the end of the season and everything else. And I think he'll be hurt, especially because of what he done in the season previous to that, where he won the Golden Boot. And I was thinking that he was hoping he could maintain that level. So I'm expecting a big performance from Sonny today, and I really do like that starting lineup. Bar the obvious, Big D in the centre back pisses me off.
Definitely so. Definitely so. Big up, Dark Sun G. I do like the starting lineup a lot. I would like to maybe have seen, like we continue to talk about, someone else other than Ben Davies. But if I were to maybe pick amongst the center back options at left sided center back, maybe he can do it better than the others. But I'm still not going to be that convinced, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it for a long while. But Dave, you did want to transition over to the Joe Lewis sort of.
Yeah, just quickly, so we can have a quick discussion on it. First of all, everybody, thank you for joining us. Make sure you smash that like button. If you're new, smash that subscribe button. And guys, feel free, if you haven't already, grab one of them channel memberships. A lot of interactive content and perks coming your way this season, and feel free to throw in a super chat or two with your comment. It's a great way for us to be able to not miss it and get it, make sure it's discussed whether you agree or disagree with us on certain things. Just like Neil Shafton last week, it was a good back and forth. But Jack, Joe Lewis being indicted over to your state, Jacko.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, go on.
No, no, you were probably going to say something more
I was just
serious.
going to say, so basically, what it's all come down to is basically, apparently, to his two private pilots, he gave them a loan of $500,000 each to invest in a company and then sell it on, and then basically pay Joe Lewis back. But they've made money. He's done the same to, I believe, a couple of his lover girls, where he's sort of done the same with insider trading, and that's where all this is coming from. Now, I must stress that back in October 2022, Lewis seized significant control of Tottenham Hotspur. Remember that thing about in the Customs House came out, and I think that was a move to sort of remove his connection from Tottenham Hotspur so that the club don't get embroiled up in this mess. But what we don't know is if anyone inside the club has sort of took any inside trading info off them and used it, which will then bring the club into disrepute. But regardless, if the club or the club is not affected from it, you know, the club's name is always going to be dragged through the mess because it's one of the biggest, most recognized businesses on the out of his 200 businesses
Yeah.
on his portfolio at Tavistock. So I mean, this one, look, it's not going to be an overnight thing, according to my understandings of it. This is going to rumble on for quite some time. It could take a couple of years to get to trial. They might look to freeze his assets and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So this is not over by any stretch of the imagination. And I remember watching a Bernie Madoff docu-series on Netflix, and he went through the same sort of thing where he got done for insider trading. And Joe Lewis is 80 odd. Um, I don't think he'll get away with it. I think he's up for what, 16 or 19 counts or something like that. He'll probably get done on maybe about 7 or 8 of them, maybe. He won't get done on them all. But it'd be interesting to see how this unfolds, Jack.
And Nick, I have you in front of the Harris Army here. Joe Lewis has been indicted over to the Yanks. We have him, or we will have him in our arms. I imagine he's not going to get away with it because it was some pretty lazy insider trading by the looks of things. It wasn't, I wouldn't even call it a scheme because that would be generous to schemes, you know, or that would be
Yeah.
actually, you know, or be, because a scheme is something at the end of the day that's quite clever, or something that is, you know, you're trying to fool somebody. It's not even like he really was trying to fool anybody or anything. It just was kind of just lazy sort of insider trading to try to boost his own sort of profits as well as kind of his buddies, even his private pilots. He was trying to help out. What a nice guy.
You know what? It's testimony to what these kind of people think that they can get away with. You know, either it's stuff. You know, we wouldn't be that stupid to think that we could get away with giving insider tips on the sly to our paramours, our little piece on the side. It's people that it's tips he's giving to people he doesn't really want to tip. You know, but
Mm,
listen, man. As far as what the effect on the club is, I actually don't think it's going to have much effect in the grand scheme of thing at all. I don't think it's going to affect the NFL deal. That's essentially, a deal to rent the grounds for a long-term period, along
yeah.
with some merchandising. The NFL doesn't care about the owner of the club, the owner of the company that owns the majority share of the club. I mean, if you go back and you look at how many billionaires have been indicted for even less and similar things throughout American history and their portfolios. When people come across and say, oh, he owns the Cleveland Browns. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. That guy. They don't really care about it as much as I
Mm,
think maybe the English press might
that's true.
make it out to be. Yeah. Uh, you know, as far as the immediate impact, though, I think the one thing that it's going to affect is the amount of people that get deeper into Harry Kane's ear about the problems at the club. I think that
Mm.
that's the immediate and palpable knock-on effect.
I sort of feel like it could have an effect on the club if, let's say, during the trial or at any stage where they were to maybe sentence him or punish him with something, they could put some of his assets right on freeze, or they could put some of his assets on hold where he might not be
But
able
he's out of
to.
his control, though.
It is out
He's
of his.
That
control.
That's specifically, Sean actually explained it in relation to Madoff earlier today, and that's specifically why he divulged, he put it into a trust and handed
So then other
control.
ones can make decisions for him and be able to
Yeah,
invest
it's a
for him.
barrier. And the separation between the two companies, between Tottenham Hotspur and ENIC, is wide enough that in a financial sense, it's not going to affect it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Keep in mind another thing too. We know that Joe Lewis owns Tottenham Hotspur. The majority of the world has no idea, even if they know who Tottenham Hotspur is. 90% of those people think that Daniel Levy runs the company
What I
completely,
will,
and he's the face of it.
the sort of effect it could end up having on the club, maybe long term, is that he'd probably get found guilty, right? He'd probably be hit with a huge bill to pay, right? So
Yeah,
therefore, he might actually have to end up selling the club to be able to pay off that bill. He might. Now, look, this
in
guy is
no way it
very
would be that
wealthy.
much. No, it's
No,
yeah. I
he's
don't
got.
think that
Go
the
on.
penalty is not going to be like that, man. It's not going to be that hefty. For what he's accused of, it's not. He didn't ruin anybody's pension funds or anything like that. He was
Mm,
being stupid out of hubris, and the
mm.
penalty is going to be like not even a drop in the bucket for him. For
But
this
what?
guy, it's more of he's going to be stripped of his ability to do business within that realm for a certain amount of years, which is going to be the rest of his life, and
Mm.
it's going to be embarrassing. But the long-term knock-on effect is not going to be devastating.
But what I will say is, though, I mean, and it was an article put out there yesterday. I thought maybe it was put out there because they were bored, but it turns out they obviously knew this was coming out later on that evening. But they were talking about the ownership again, and if you remember over the last sort of uh, year or two, Jam the Jaffe is rumored to be interested. There's sort of been discussions there, same as QSI. So what it might actually do is it could end up meaning that Joe Lewis might end up just passing on responsibility to the club, or the
I think
finances that
that's
he once
very
had
possible.
might end up being affected. So he might not, like, look, he barely puts money in anyway, but
Yeah,
he might not have the finances to be able to run the club anymore. So we could end up looking at a change in ownership somewhere down the line. You still have QSI if they want to invest into the club rather than Joe Lewis selling it on. And I reckon that's where all this has come from because, like you said, Nick, he created
yeah.
that barrier by ceasing control of the club and putting it in the Lewis Trust, family trust. So that way, they can't really get their hands on it if something were to come of this where they were to seize assets or freeze assets or anything like that. So, but what I will say is people held Paratici to one standard where they're like, look, regardless, you're bringing the club into disrepute. Do they now go on and hold Joe Lewis to that same standard? Look, there's going to be a lot more fallout from this yet, but it's interesting.
Mm. Yeah, and I
New orange jumpsuits as our jerseys next year as our kids.
it certainly is. Maybe Paratici and him might cross, paths, at some stage, maybe on their separate sentencings. But it is going to be something that I imagine isn't going to go away, and we will continue to give our thoughts on it as it continues to develop, everybody. But we do have a game in front of us, and what I would
Yes.
say is Harry Kane, from what I could tell, Dave, he's gone for higher socks than usual. The socks are well into the shorts. Do you remember him doing that? And also Neil Shafton, actually, with the super chat, says not in his lifetime, Jack, when it comes to Joe Lewis. I imagine that Joe Lewis, Neil, for me, this is probably the first time that he's ever been in any sort of kind of I think he's been in trouble in the past for some shady dealings, but this could be, I think his biggest one. And I guess if you're, reaching his age, might as well go out big, with some sort of big, insider trading of some kind. But everybody, I got a little distracted there while talking to Neil, so I'm gonna have to get caught up on the scoreboard here. Everybody,
You
if
do
you
that,
haven't
Jack.
already.
I'll take the next super chat. Also, throw the link in for the game in here for us as well. Neil Shafton with another super chat. He says, Nick, he says, Bernie not even close to Lewis. Ponzi not even on the same scale as Martha Stewart, Joe Lewis. Lewis will be dead before anything goes to trial.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, it's really the SEC likes to make an example of people, especially when they're blatantly breaking the rules, and that's what this is. Honestly, man, the majority of the United States of America won't even know what's going on.
Yeah. Look, it'd be interesting. Look, Bernie Madoff was more of a Ponzi scheme. I do get that. Joe
Mm-hmm.
Lewis, I think, is probably knows he's on the way out or soon on his way out, and he probably wants to help people around him, I would say, is more what's happened there. But no excuses for it. no excuses for it. It's just not good look for the club having Paratici now.
It definitely isn't, man. The knock-on effect on the reputation of Spurs is, you know, in the long term. That it's a
Pape.
banger. Who was that? Basuma?
That was Pape, I believe.
I can't
Oh,
see it.
Sar? Yeah, Sar's taking crack. All right, that's what you like to see. You know, keep it down a little bit. So, man, I would really love to see. Like, I know people are downplaying this match, but I think it's a good thing right now. We know we have defensive problems. Let's not worry about that right this second because we're still waiting for people to get it. We're hoping. You know, I'm an optimist. Let's have shooting practice
Emphasis on
at
still
this
waiting,
team.
but yes, continue.
Yeah. But, you know, let's just have shooting practice. Let's get our finishing down. You know, I want to see 50 shots on target.
100%. And then Kuva says, big up Kuva, hopefully you're keeping well. He says, I think we're picking up our strongest lineup to start the match, playing Sar and praying Sar and Basuma gel quickly. I agree. I don't rate Skip in there. I can't wait to see Papa Matt or Sar today, aka Sar Dembele, aka Sar boy. Let's go. Come on. That's a lovely head of hair by Basuma.
Did he take his braids out for this one? Yeah, he did. Nice.
Big up Neil Shafton. I agree. I think Joe Louis went big before he went home, basically. You know, he decided to just go for the biggest one, you know, possible, you know, not even do anything that clever, you know, type of scheme. Just, you know, do some lazy insider trading and, you know, see until he gets caught, you know, make life a little spicy, make it a little interesting, I guess.
I put out a tweet yesterday joking. I was like, you know, I grabbed the U.S. attorney speaking. I was like, you know, the excuses to keeping Davies and Dyer at this club have gone too far now.
Oh, Destiny into Madison. Harry!
Oh, I thought he was going to give me my goodbye goal. I was about to get an erection. What play? Lovely one-touch football. Who pulled that back there? What ball?
Oh, Madison and the King off of a ricochet.
That clipped the post.
And was that Udogi with the run down the left, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. Jesus. That was beautiful. Great one-touch football. That's what we want to see. Good push and pass and run football. Back to the Arthur Rowe days. Oh, here we go. Go on, Sonny. Go on, Sonny. Oh, look at that. Darting through the middle. Like a train.
Destiny taken down.
Romero, the man that's newly committed. Let's go, Rom. Going to nickname him Rom-Com for the first few weeks of the season. I'm loving him.
In a way, this could be a good test. I know it's not going to be the best opponent, but they are going to, they're doing a very rigid 4-4-2 or some type, or maybe even a 5 in the back of some type. So this could be a similar formation we come up against, you know, for
11 men behind the yacht jack.
Exactly. 11 men behind Joe Louis Scott.
The City Sailors. We're going to be nicknamed the City Sailors on the way out of here.
That was a good attempt at a through ball, but it looks like nobody was expecting it. Was that Poro with the through ball directly split the entire defense all the way to the goalkeeper?
Poro doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter where he is. He runs that prison yard. Into Basuma. It looks like Basuma's playing that number 6, Jacko.
Yeah, he's still playing through the middle. I was convinced that maybe Ange would switch things up. Oh, a little mistake here.
In the center. He's dodging.
Oh, lovely. Beautiful. Pape, top of the box. Oh, what a clip ball.
Why did Sonny? No.
Destiny recovers. Oh, some very skilled boys on the ball here. Basuma. Harry with a switch of play. A little left, a little short. Papa Matasar with the long recovery. Beautiful.
Jesus Christ, he won gold in track and field anyway. What a cover recovery.
Romero's relieved to have a man like that there. Oh, beautiful pass from Romero, breaking the lines into Madison.
With Madison.
In the Sunny, time and space.
In on that right. Go on, give it to me.
Madison, have a hit! Hey! Swing your leg.
This is a bright start by Tottenham. Should be 2 up now. Come on.
What a pass to break the lines from Romero.
Great ball by Romero. Great ball. The
Romero hater still silent to this day.
Listen, Cootie's got some fans and some love in Singapore. Did you see those Cootie masks that they had in the crowd? Got to get some of those.
Smash it.
Oh, Sonny with the longer.
Sonny, oh,
Oh,
audacious. Is that
This
Madison?
is what I want to see, man. Everybody's taking a crack.
yeah. Everyone wants to go. Come on. Ben Davies just checking the no nads are still there. We'll see now. Let's see if he checks for them in the middle of a Premier League game. They'll be
He's checking
missing.
if his Welsh jewels are still. Big up to Stuart
Still in
Jacks.
place.
Big up Tyler. Good to see you in the house. Tyler, PJ, good to see you as well, my friend.
Ribsy asking, did they sell tickets for this? It doesn't look like it, does it? It looks like they got cardboard cutouts in the stand.
Looks like the World Cup.
If I wouldn't known that, I would have sent in a big one of myself with a big goofy smile on my head.
Looks like
Big
the
thumbs
Qatar
up
World
like
Cup.
that. With Harry Kane in my arms. That's what I should have done.
Destiny here.
That's it. Davies passed
Romero.
the responsibility on to Romero. That's the way it should be. That's the way it's
Oh,
always
maybe a
been.
little loose though from Romero. Over the top.
Sorry,
Sicario.
Venom's got it. Venom, go on. Solo over his head.
Oh,
There you
love
go.
that.
There you go. Cheeky.
Gee.
Giving them the Venom shots.
Pedro. Gorgeous
Oh,
ball, Pedro.
That was dangerous.
Over the
though, you know?
top to Kulu.
What? He's still got it.
Sir!
Penalty ref.
Uh-oh.
Where's the penalty? Who cares about the goalkeeper? Got a kick in the ribs.
It's not kicked out of him.
Kulu not looking good.
And there's nothing wrong with him.
Should be all right. He should be all right. Yeah, got the snot kicked out of him. It looks like Kulu there.
Yeah.
That's a penalty.
He
He's
got
got
an elbow. Yeah, he got an elbow in the side right there.
Where's VAR?
You know the game is ruined if there's VAR for this preseason friendly in Singapore.
Oh, I love a bit of VAR, lad. Only when it goes for us.
Yeah, Zoe agrees. How's that not a penalty? Big up, Zoe. Good to see you in the house.
It's a joke. He's put the ball by the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper stuck him out. Where's VAR when you need it?
Ange hasn't gone for the tracksuit this time. He's gone for more of the polo approach.
Yeah, he's given up already, Jack.
Kulusevski's gotten
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm just doing a head check on Kulu.
maybe a bit of
They gotta do
sunscreen
it.
in
They
the
gotta
bag
do
would
it.
be nice too. Bring a little sunscreen in the medical bag for him. But yeah, a very defensive, deep lying sort of shape that will be coming up against, I think, throughout the season. And I know it's not going to be, the best realistic opponent that we're coming up against today. But at the same time, I sort of feel like this is a shape that we'll come up against. So there is something to take from this if I am going to look for, this isn't completely pointless exercise, I think, this type of game.
It will be.
It's running drills. It's running drills for the team, which can't hurt, but they're putting up almost no defense, except for that good takeaway right there.
Yeah, and that guy had a bit of a Jack Clark moment there on the ball.
But as
keeper.
we come through the middle, it's like nobody's making a tackle.
Well done, Romero. Oh,
that's it, Romero. He just wants to smash people. Sarr getting in on the action, doing it for Romero. A lot of pink boots going on out there.
Yeah, it seems like that's been the
same boots.
Yeah, I guess Nike must have released something new, Dave. Oh, ball over the top. Well done, Vicario. Gee. Ball behind. Well done, Pedro.
Easy.
Out wide to
Let's
Kulu.
go, Kulu. Give it back to Pedro. He's on the outburst.
Oh, lovely.
Kulu shaking.
Straight out to Basuma. Let's go.
Into Destiny.
Run with it.
Destiny surging. Here we are. Sonny.
Sonny wants to cut in.
Matters. Still matters.
Oh, you cheeky boy. Come back
Davies.
to base.
11 players in the
Pape.
box right now. How do we break through this?
Pedro.
Good ball out to Kulu. Doubling up on Kulu here.
Oh, gorgeous.
Back out to Porro. Romero on the ball.
Basuma.
Ben Davies and Romero are like 15 yards over the halfway line and deep in their half.
This is the kind of thing we're
Destiny
going to
here.
No!
Oh, a little too much on it.
Go on, Porro.
This is the kind of lock we're going to have to learn to unpick, though. This is,
Yeah.
11 people in their half.
Oh, lovely.
Kulu and Basuma. Basuma still has it.
Lovely.
Back to Kulu.
Kulu's just going for Megs.
Come on, we should be 2-0. We should have scored by now. Good play, though. It's good to see the one-touch pass and then, see them all moving for each other. It's something we're not used to seeing, which is good. Now we just need to learn to finish.
Tequila 316 says those straws are just a bit out of reach, Jacko, but keep trying to get them. Some would say clutching would even be generous. I'm almost, jumping at them. I'm jumping at the straws, trying to reach them. Big header there.
Well won by Romero.
Basuma. Kulusevski here. We got time and space.
Find him. You gonna find Sonny? No.
No.
Never was gonna get there.
No. You got to hit it on the outside of him.
Yeah. Oh, get stuck, Harry.
Blows him over.
Oh, love that. Get stuck.
Who said this guy wasn't committed?
Pape. Beautiful. With heat.
Oh.
Pedro. Get stuck, Kulu.
Kulu. Go on, sir.
Oh, not winning the second ball there. Putting pressure on the midfield here. Oh, we might get him. Oh. That was a close one. Well done, Davies. Bad pass.
He's a clown. He always does that. Always does it. He's
Davies getting caught out here. Ball in, and it's a goal!
What an idiot. City Sailors, and that's what Ben Davies is doing. Passing it into trouble. What a clown.
It's just...
City Sailors. My Lord. These are a boat club.
That's just
sad. You can't
sad.
even have composure against a bloody boat enthusiast.
That's so pathetic. That's just sad.
Holy shit.
And it comes from the one weak link as well, Ben Davies.
Fucking hell. It's just
that
useless.
obvious.
Look at him. Look at the silly little soppy twat. Jesus Christ, he's all over the place. But
Porro's, I think, just never really...
It's just started by Davies, just a stupid pass into Papa Matasar. He knows there's a player behind him, but because he panics on the ball, it's like, well, I'll let you lose it, rather than just taking responsibility on the bloody ball. City Sailors, part-time outfit, bloody boat enthusiasts. Jesus Christ. Let alone Man City.
I mean, what's a little scary, too, is that this cries out even more for the call for the need for center backs that are good on the ball, because we just got burned there from one mistake, right? One loose pass, one unnecessary loose pass, and we get burned for that. And this is the thing, in the Premier League, we're going to get also burned for it, because there are teams that set up to punish you for those type of mistakes. Yeah. And if we're getting punished at this level, Lord knows, when we're going to reach Brentford, teams like that, how we could get punished. So this is, again, more the call for a need for center backs is that, the goals that we've conceded, West Ham and these ones, have just come against the run of play from one simple mistake from usually the back line.
In the Premier League, you're going to have teams that press you, believe it or not. You know what I mean? We're playing against teams that are sitting off us, and we're still giving the ball away and conceding. It's bloody shocking. It doesn't matter who we're up against. Some of these guys are just shit, and they're not good enough to be here. And I hope the club just go and address this. I don't want to dick about with it anymore.
Oh, what a hit, James. Super chat though a little bit ago from Adrian Chia, and he says, "Greetings, lads from Singapore. I didn't buy tickets because I didn't want to let Levy earn any pounds. Also, it was kind of a bait and switch because opposition was supposed to be Roma. It kind of was, right? I mean, that was a bit of a. I guess if you were originally buying your tickets for Roma,
Oh,
this was a bit of a letdown. James,
Oh,
out for another corner." But what I would say, Adrian, is I hope it's still been exciting. Maybe you've been able to get a glimpse of the team bus. Maybe you've been having, a bit of time off work or school, or maybe to be able to go to the team hotel and be able to check out, any of the players or see any of the media days or anything. Because I imagine if you had any break in your schedule, there could have been maybe an opportunity to go at least see some of the players. That would have been a lot of fun. Knowing me myself, I would have absolutely been stalking Emerson and Pedro Porro's rooms. So if you had the opportunity to do that, let me know, my friend. But really do appreciate your
oh,
support. Big up, Adrian.
and as well, if you're anywhere near Harry Kane's hotel room, which I presume it would be probably the presidential suite, just feel like grabbing me a strand of that hair. That'd be absolutely awesome, my man. Just as a keepsake before it gets started when he goes out to Bayern Munich, that'd be brilliant. But hopefully you're enjoying your time out there. Hopefully, like Jack said, you have got down and participated in some of the events that have gone on. It's not every day, Tottenham are over there. So big up, Adrian. Great to see you, my man.
We also have 2J saying, so basically any team that attacks us scores with every attack.
It's
It's the
beyond
same thing
joke.
as last year, just we have more of the ball this time.
Like,
Last
this
year it
isn't
was
Man
sort of the
City,
same
by the
thing
way.
towards
This
the end of
isn't
the
Man
season.
City. This is Lion City Sailors. They had to put an animal in their name to make them sound scary. It's not pathetic. It's a joke.
Are the sailors
real
not
quick,
scary enough? I feel like sailors can be pretty scary.
real quick, guys. There's been a couple of requests for the sake of those who aren't watching but are only listening. Can you describe someone better who can describe it better than I can? Exactly where Davies was at fault and how the play broke down for the goal that was conceded.
Okay. So the
I
ball came into Ben Davies. He took a loose touch, which put him under pressure. He panicked and just gave it to the first white shirt he seen in front of him without realizing that there was a guy behind him ready to pick the pocket.
And then they
So he just panicked.
transitioned to a
Yeah.
counterattack. Sort of from there,
He
it
was
led to a
he was
ball over the
tracking his
top.
man at the time. Then he let that man go to dip further. That man then does a cross ball to the right to who's ever on the wing for them. I wasn't too happy with Vicario's decision making on that goal either. Somebody put in the chat. They think he's let in every single shot on target so far in the last two games, which does
Oh,
not bode
That's
too
not
well.
true. He made that brilliant save against Jared
Correct.
Bowen.
And
then he made
West
another
Ham.
save as well. So that's just not true.
Yeah.
And just earlier, he made 2 clearances.
but this is what we spoke about, with some of these guys at the back line. They ain't good enough defensively, but they also not good enough on the ball to play Andrew's way. This is Lion City Sailors. This isn't Liverpool, where you're going to have Mo Salah and all these people running at you trying to press you. Man City, where you've got other people running at you trying to press you. Man United, where you've got Rashford and Cole running at you. This is Lion City Sailors, and he's not competent on the ball. The thing is, we shouldn't even be in this position, and neither should Ange. This is what I spoke about it being criminal. It's killing all momentum on preseason tour having this. It's actually just embarrassing. It actually is what it is. This is on the club for not getting the business done. I'm sick of it. Not good enough defensively, not good enough on the ball. It's a joke. Lion City bloody Sailors.
Destiny down the wing here. He's making a lot of progress. James Madison, top of the box. And
we're not really creating too many clear-cut chances, though, are we? It's all really shots from in and around the edge of the box and stuff like that. We need to try and break them down.
also, Tyler saying that it's very concerning for maybe Porro thus far still defending. Do you feel like Ange is going to have to just face facts and maybe realize that Pedro Porro isn't maybe capable at right back, like he is just a right winger and really more right wing back? Like, as technically brilliant as he is, he might be better off just playing higher up the pitch than he is deeper.
Yeah, look, there's an argument to it. Many have made that argument. Look, for me, I think he can play there. It just takes a bit of getting used to. But also, if you've got that leader back there, he speaks to people, and that's what we miss back there. There's no communication whatsoever, and people undervalue how good it is to have that leader there who speaks to people, helps people position wise, keeps them switched on. And for me, if you have that there, I think you see a better Porro because you see someone organizing them, switching them on, this, that, and the other. Without that, it's a liability.
Yeah, definitely.
Here we go, Basuma.
That's
Let's
new
go.
Doji
Basuma.
surging.
Sonny. 4 players running into the box here. He slows it right down.
Oh, good tackle there. Goes out for a
Got to hit
corner.
that cross when they're all running in.
Udoji has been brilliant at just getting us up the pitch.
Mm.
He just doesn't even need to pass it. He just starts running with the ball, and then we're already basically in the final third.
Six corners already.
Ribsy85 saying, I can't believe we're being beat by a team that sounds like a cartoon.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. May as well call
All
themselves.
in, Romero! Oh.
Jeez, their keeper misread that completely.
I'm going to jump off real quick, guys. I'll be back at halftime.
Okay.
No worries,
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. It's just embarrassing, this. I'm sick of it.
Stevie Frazier says Porro switches off all the time. I'm not even sure if he's always switching off. I just think he doesn't really have the real defensive reliability. Like, he sometimes is right there at the right time, and then he just misses the tackle or he misses the clearance, and he just scuffs,
Switches
I don't know if it's always switching off. I've seen him in the right place at the right time. He just misses a tackle or he just misses a clearance or whatever. It's actually maybe just his own reliability in these moments is you can't really. Oh, it's sketchy here. Well done, though. Well done.
Oh, that's composure, lad.
There you are. Basuma here. Madison.
Oh,
oh, what a ball from Madison. Outside the foot. Oh, heavy from Sonny.
Overhit back. Kane picks it up, though. Back
Kulu on the right.
Sar. Oh, my God. Is he not giving that? Oh, my God. He's just blatantly obstructed him. Porro wins the throw-in.
Harry Kane here. Nice pass into Matters. Matters turn.
Oh,
lovely. Lovely. Have a hit.
Oh, Sonny.
Oh.
What
Madison tried to square it across goal, and it's cleared away.
This is what we didn't see against West Ham. That I was a bit disappointed from James Maddison. Now this is what he's doing today. He's picking up the ball and going direct. He's making things happen.
Oh, lovely.
I would have went for the shot there. I thought he should have been selfish, Jack.
Yeah, genuinely, I was surprised he squared it. Oh, Romero again. Have a hit. Madison. Oh, my Lord.
Don't tell me he's giving that as a free out.
No, it's just a throw-in.
Basuma to Kulu. Romero. To Porro to Kulu. Go on, Kulu. You still have Porro there.
There you go. Oh.
Wrong decisions. Adrian Chia says, just for your information, Lion City Sailors are not even top team in our league. They are third of a 9-team league, lol. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, Adrian Chia.
Adrian, I'm sorry.
Are they even full-time? Are they professional outfit?
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are still professional. But Adrian, I mean, you've written some pretty horrible scripts in the past, but this is, again, really testing it for yourself, and you're doing it in your own backyard as well, which is really cruel. Very cruel. I'm sorry, my man. But we've created 1,000 chances, and let's just hope we can actually finish them this time, because that's what's also frustrating, is just sort of us again, sort of doing a bit of last time where we love to create chances, but don't really like putting it in the back of the net very much either.
Yeah.
So let's see us actually score.
I'm sick of being embarrassed by some of these clowns.
Big up, Adrian, though. I hope you've been keeping well this summer, my friend. And it's good to see that you've been able to get, ball in behind. It's Sonny!
Yes.
Oh, is he off?
Fuck off.
Good little clip ball from Harry Kane. I was caught a
Getting
little.
there.
I was caught a little off guard. I can't even say whether he was off or not. It was a clip ball from Harry Kane from a free kick from a dead ball. Just took it quickly.
Oh,
Big up to
yeah,
you though,
Adrian.
Adrian. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
I'm just fed up of it. I'm just fed up of it. I just keep speaking about these guys, and it just every game they come back to show me exactly why I do it, and then it's just to the detriment of Tottenham all the fucking time, and they're just fed up of it. Come on, let's go, Tottenham. Come on.
Out of 12 shots, only one on target, Paul Connor says.
65% possession as well.
Basuma.
One on target. It's not good enough.
There you are. Poro.
Basuma to Poro.
Here you go, Harry. Destiny.
Destiny.
Just a little overhit by Pedro. Harry
Like
Kane's maybe offsides as well.
Right. Yeah, he's way off. Their goalkeeper can't even catch a bloody ball. He's misjudging the flight of all the balls into the box.
Tyler says this goalie is 5'10" and we can't score.
Yeah. Just not really creating too many clear-cut chances. Ben Davies out to Sonny.
Matters.
Sonny to Madison.
No, good tackle.
Our two wingers have been poor. They haven't done enough, Sonny or Kulu.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all Madison, Basuma, people like that. Son and Kulu need to get into this
the
game.
front, you would say the front three,
Oh
just
my God.
front three in general.
Davies. Romero has to come across and cover him. It's that bad.
Lion City with a bit of the Sailors with a bit of possession here in our half.
Wins in their sails.
Out wide to the right winger here. Cuts inside on Destiny. Back post. Pedro.
Goal kick. I just wish to God they'd wake up.
That guy used to play for Ajax.
Who is he?
Zivkovic.
Oh, yeah. Just play up front. Oh, come on. Get on with it. Jesus Christ. Taking all year. I'd have a fry-up cooked in this time.
City Sailors with a corner. They win it.
Oh, my God. Go on, sir.
Well done, Sar. That's us. Thank you, sir.
That's what we like. Keep traveling.
Good ball. Beautiful ball from Sar. Beautiful. Kulu's in behind here. Oh, down the wing.
You play skip. Let's go, Kulu. Oh. Too much.
Okay.
What a corner. That'll do. Well done.
Kulu wins a corner. Beautiful work.
Not only does it go over and body your man, but what a ball down the line. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's well done by Sar. I think Sar is just, no wonder he's making such good impression with Ange. Yeah. And also he's just everywhere. He's just a guy that's just able to be everywhere on the pitch.
Yeah.
I agree, Paul. We're 30 minutes in and we haven't scored, my friend. 30 minutes in and we haven't scored. It's embarrassing.
Oh! Sar with the header just couldn't direct that on target. But look, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what I was saying, Jack. I was even saying it last year. We can get rid of Conte and bring in another manager and go for a different style of brand of football, but it doesn't matter. Backline's always going to come and haunt us until it's fixed. And, it's concerning that West Ham had 4 shots, 3 on target, or 3 went in and they win the game. Yeah. And it's concerning that we've been all over these. They've probably attacked us twice, scored once. It's really concerning.
No, you're right. And that's what I've said, is that in the West Ham game, maybe you just sort of put it down to them being very clinical with the chances that we did give them, but we still had plenty more chances to probably at least, still have won the game. Where in this one, they've only had really 1 or 2 chances, City Sailors, but they've taken them. And it just concerns you that a team of this quality, if they can just take the 1 chance we give them, makes you really wonder about a team that's actually better than them, what chances they would actually be able to punish us with.
Yeah, you're spot on. When you're coming up against teams in the Premier League where there's actually something to fight for, you're going to get punished even more. Sonny on the ball. Madison to Kane. Back to Madison. Let Harry wrap one. Basuma to Romero. Great ball out to Kulu. Basuma. Throw in. Tottenham throw in deep in City Sailors half. Come on, Kulu, get on with it. Leaves it to Porro. Scoot reacts saying Kane looks disinterested. I don't think he's disinterested. There's just nothing being created. Absolutely nothing being created. All the shots we've had have been from outside the box. The majority of them. Slow as well. Romero. Into Basuma. Basuma, great ball out to Sarr. Him and Sarr have been brilliant. And Madison. Oh, what a ball by Sarr to Madison.
Oh, here we are in a Sonny.
Give it to Kane. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Matters. Fuck sake.
No.
How many do we need to see go over the bar?
So don't start arguing with Kane. You should have been a first-time ball across 6-yard box, and it was 1-1.
Kane's off.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, so close by Madison. How many shots has he had this half? Oh,
I feel like that's all of his shots this preseason.
He's had nearly all our shots, Madison.
He's
at about 6. 13 shots to 1, and they're 1-0 up. It's embarrassing. Oh, ref, Jesus Christ. Someone give him a sausage sandwich. He just wants to feel something between his lips. It's a bloody joke. Should have given us 2 penalties up the other end. Doesn't blow his whistle. And here he is blowing his whistle. Ref needing camera time. Look at that. Just get on with the game. It's a fucking friendly.
All in. Top of the box. Good block from Destiny. Jeez. Ball back to Vicario. Into Basuma. Nice, into Matters.
Oh, another great ball outside.
Beautiful. Sonny out wide now.
Slowing it down.
Basuma.
Oh.
Lovely.
Thumping on the ball.
Out wide to Kulu. Back to Basuma. Spurs very deep now. Ben Davies deep in their half. Back to Sonny now. Sonny still looking. Spurs passing around the top of the edge of the area. Not too much space.
Sonny does not want to cross that ball, does he?
Neither does Kulu.
No.
Basuma here. Nice. Nice for
Madison.
Madison. Little one-touch play. Breaking the lines here. Kulu out wide now. One-on-one. He's got time and space. Skin him, Kulu. Whips it across. Shit, cross.
His end product the last 2 games has been fucking piss poor.
I would say the front three has just been
genuinely,
so they have just been genuinely anonymous, the front three.
Every time the ball gets out wide, it's being slowed down. They're cutting back inside. They need to mix it up, put crosses in behind, mix it up a bit. Pull that defense ragged, ask different questions. Papa Sarr out to Kulu.
There you go, Kulu. Find Sonny or Matters. There you go. Finish. Finish. Finish.
Oh, no. How's he not scored?
How are we not finishing? Jeez. I mean, honestly, we need a whole week on finishing.
Jesus Christ. They wouldn't finish their dinner. Oh, my God. So
And this is against a City Sailors keeper, and we've spurned 1,000 chances against West Ham. So many sitters. That's worrying. That really is worrying.
Yeah.
That's worrying. What's the point of creating all these chances then if we can't bury them? That's a sitter. It's practically a one-on-one. Could have picked either side as well.
So a good ball into match. Loses out. It's become incredibly frustrating today, Jacob.
Yeah. Well, it's frustrating that we just get done by the one mistake yet again.
Yeah.
It just shows that that's a lesson for next season. But I'm not happy seeing us create that many chances, only for us to be so lazy with the finishing. I hate seeing us being lazy with finishing. It's ridiculous. I could have finished that.
The Madison should have buried that. He hit that straight at the keeper. He could have just went either side.
Could have gone either side.
But do you know what? It's just every time the ball reaches Son or Kulu, you know, I feel sorry for Kane because he's constantly having to recheck his runs all the time because he doesn't know what they're going to do with it. That front three needs to fucking start working together to click. Because otherwise it's going to come back with repercussions. Because all of our shots have come from the midfielders around the box. And they're only going to score you so many goals. Our front three need to get involved.
Well done, Destiny. Oh, Sonny. Sonny and Madison not linking up.
I can understand Sonny being a bit off it, right? It's sort of his first game back, stuff like that. But, you know, season's fast approaching around the corner. He needs to try and get up to match sharpness quick. Kulu, there's no excuse for. And now we're getting lazy. And now we're dropping off them. That's it, sir. Go on, sir. Hunt it. That's it, kid. Now your turn, Kane. Good pressing. Well won by Porro.
Bobby K celebrating 17 months as a Flat Cap member says, morning, David and Jack, and everyone in the chat. Big yourself up, Bobby K. Hopefully you're well distracted this morning and, you know, maybe don't have this game turned on. But if you do, let me know, what's on your mind with this game. Big up, Bobby K. Good to see you, my friend.
There you go, Bobby. Hopefully you and the young lads are doing well. Hopefully their soccer season's going well as well, my man. Good to see you in the building and hopefully you're keeping well. Bobby, same problems, man. It's embarrassing. Yeah, we can't score, but you know, like I said last season, you can't ask us to score 4 or 5 goals every single game. Now, there's no excuse for today. We should be 4 or 5 up, but same problems come back to rear their head. You know, us just panicking on the ball, giving it away, and then just conceding without any sort of battling qualities. It's embarrassing. I'm sick of it now at this point. Win that. Well done, Romero. Cario. To Davies. You've got one job. Just give it to Bissouma. Porro. Now to Bissouma. Pedro. It's his prison yard.
Kulu.
If that guy doesn't cross the ball, I'm going to kill him. Everything is back inside. I mean, I've seen this under Conte.
There you go, Harry. Pape. Off the bar.
What control and volley. Absolutely wallops the bar. What an effort. Yes, kid. What control. Great take.
Probably actually, if anything, he's been a bright spark of all probably the midfield, I would say in general. Maybe more Pape.
Oh,
That's
leaning back and
beautiful.
everything. To do that in that tight bit of space is unbelievable. What an effort. Oh, I love this kid. He's a sad boy. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh,
Shakhtar, then Barca after this.
I'm not looking forward to them.
Shakhtar will certainly be much better than this as well.
Well, I'll be missing the game. I'm at my nanny's birthday party.
Maybe you're the bad luck charm, Dave. We'll see if Spurs will be able
Like,
to.
my
Maybe who
man
knows?
rang
We'll
me.
have Tapsoba in. We'll have Van de Ven in. Everything will be done.
My man rang me about it. I was like, Matt, can you not move it till the Sunday? You know what I mean? Spurs are playing, but no, can't get moved. I'll have to have a word with my nanny about that when I'm at the party, by the way. I'll be like, do you know how much I love you, Nan? I'm missing Spurs Shakhtar. I'll see if I can get them to play it.
Sonny.
Get the head up, Sonny.
There you
Get
go,
the head up.
Sonny. Ugh. Suma.
Out to Poro.
There you go, Pape. Good work.
He's
Look
been
at that
brilliant.
touch he takes there.
Been brilliant. Him and Basuma and
Beautiful.
Madison have been class.
There you go, Pape. Close control there.
And the pass to
Beautiful.
boot. Get it in, Sonny. Oh, man. You got to start putting
They're
balls in
both
behind the
standing
back
way
line.
too straight. They're both standing way too straight, him and Kulu, it feels like, when they
Like,
pick up.
Kane's waiting on the shoulder last defender for these crosses to be whipped in behind, and they're just not coming. You can't just keep playing everything in front of these guys. And sometimes you got to put stuff in behind them. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. There we
Kulu!
go.
Shoot!
Oh, Jesus. How long does he
Just
keep getting
shoot!
shut off? The one ball we play in behind them, we're in. In on goal. It's that simple. You just got to ask different questions. Stop playing everything in front of them. One ball in behind that back line, and Kulu's, he should have buried that, by the way.
Bobby K said, Jack, I woke up, watched 10 minutes, shut off, and went grocery shopping. David, the kids' football is going great. Jay finished third in the league, and playoffs start next Monday. Little K is first and in playoffs Thursday. Wow. Looks like you got winning seasons ahead of you there, Bobby K. That's good to see. You got something to look forward to.
A big month of football ahead in the K family. That's what we want to hear.
Harry Kane, top of the box here.
Give it up, Mike Kulu.
There you go.
That's how you
Gorgeous.
do it. Let Kane do it.
Too heavy again.
Jesus, my
Destiny,
Lord.
though, inside the box. James. Top of the box. Pape. Oh!
Sonny, Kulu, deliver it to Kane now. Oh, my God. You see, Kane's just getting annoyed.
Sonny!
No!
Oh! Three closest efforts have maybe been Madison, Papa Matasar, and Sonny.
Oh, that one just grazes the top of the net, lad.
It just dipped a little too late. It dipped a little too late.
It was his dipper, all right.
If that goal was just 2 feet deeper, it would have been in. Oh, jeez, he hit that. But I'm just that Madison chance. I'm shocked he missed that. And the other ones. To be fair, Madison should have a brace.
Kulu should have one or two as well. He's been in decent positions down that left. Right, come on. 1 minute to halftime. You're all coming off, so let's just go and score. Suma. To Romero. To Davies. Just get it out to Sonny now. Well done. Good ball. Face him up, Sonny. Well done.
Oh my Lord.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
What did he do? What was he wearing? Fucking Crocs when he hit that. Jesus Christ.
I mean, that'd be impressive if he hit it that hard with Crocs on. I mean,
you know
actually, he probably must be wearing Dyer's moon boots.
Yeah, shoes with the curl on the end, Jack. Scooping it up in the air. Looked like he was playing lacrosse there for a minute. The quality in the final third has just been absolutely piss poor today.
Kamikaze
Basuma.
says, I'd say the team is getting the concepts, just not capitalizing. Just second here. Good chance maybe for Sonny down the wing.
Good ball to Basuma. Well done, Basuma. Well done.
Madison.
Mavs.
Poro. Good touch.
Have one.
Find
great
him. There
ball.
he is. Sonny!
Oh,
Every pass has
unlucky.
either
What
just
a
been.
ball.
It's a brilliant run from Sonny. It's a brilliant idea from Pedro Porro. Only Pedro Porro sees that run too, usually.
Shame it took us 45 minutes to do that, though, right?
It's just haven't created enough of those type of chances. You're right.
Yeah. And that's the problem. Everything's just been played in front of them across the box. It's sort of like, it's like they're trying to, it's like they're halfway through Postacoglu's message, but then also there's still a bit of the contest sort of stuff within them. They're just happy to play it in front of people. When teams sit back like that, you got to ask different questions. Well, one Romero, he's won everything that's come down his side. Madison over the top.
Ooh, over the top to Kulu.
He still's got it. He's got it.
Kulu.
He's got Kane.
Oh.
Sam,
Pape, sir! Oh, he's giving it!
Oh, let Kane take it.
How embarrassing.
Let Kane take it. Come on. Come on.
Oh, my Lord. That's sad that Kane has taken it. I think Pape deserves it. He's been the best player of the first half.
No, Kane wants to give me a goodbye goal, Jack. Oh, don't ruin it. Don't ruin the moment.
Oh, he's offsides for both of his tap-ins, Dave. What's he being offsides for?
Sarah's been absolutely outstanding.
Well done as well. Great little housery from Sar to go down with the big cry and the big shout as well. He's been the best player. Love to see it. It's embarrassing that we have to do that just to get an equalizer.
Let's make it 2-6-8. Come on.
Right at the depths of additional time as well.
Come on, Harry. I can't look.
Actually, to be fair, we could have had a pen earlier.
Come on.
He's gone with the black boots.
Referees do more pointing than Dyer.
No doubt. Let's see. There it is.
Oh, it's great to see him score one more in a Tottenham jersey.
Who touched the hair? Who touched his hair? Who was that? Who touched it? Who touched his hair for Dave?
Nah, someone charged him a $5. He's got to put a $5 in the jar if you're touching hair like that.
Got to get that last grip of the gel before you see him go. You know, got to get that last smell of it.
Don't wash his hand.
We have reached halftime, though, everybody. If you haven't already, please smash the like button. But I did find a really good comment here from Kamikaze, and then we'll get to some super chats here, as well as some member milestones. But Kamikaze, I thought I'm not sure if he's, summarized everything for everybody, but he summarized a lot for me here. And he says, I'd say the team is getting the concepts by Ange, just not capitalizing on the shots or the opportunities and not being fast enough on the wings and are poor as well in our defensive third. Apart from that, it's been okay. I kind of feel like he covered most of that quite well, or at least a lot of people might agree with Kamikaze here. Maybe we start with that, Dave.
No, look, 100%. I get it. Look, I think we're understanding the concepts, right? I agree with him out wide. It's not fast enough. Every time the ball hits Kulu or Son, it's being slowed down and brought back inside. When we've already created that space, that one-on-one on the outside, and you're looking for them just get out wide, beat the man, put the ball in the box, or get a cut inside and have a shot. Kulu and Son have been very, very indecisive when the balls come out to them. They have slowed it down an awful lot. Defensively, I'm sick of talking about it at this point, Jack. I'm actually just fed up of talking about it. I'm going to have a heart attack one day. They're talking about this back line. I mean, look, I get it, right? But what are we trying to do here? Just play nice football or win games of football. For me, it's about winning. Why can't you have both? The City's had a both, playing nice football and winning. For me, I don't care how we play as long as we win games. And right now, we ain't winning. And it's because of this back line. I'm sick of it. Ben Davies, that goal is on him. As much as we can look at Porro, and I get it, he's got to do better. He's got to be stronger, right? He has to be. But it all stems from Ben Davies, just heavy touch, passing it into a player who's already marked and in trouble because he doesn't want to be, because he got erratic after the heavy touch, and I'm just sick of it. I'm absolutely.
He went out to try to win it after the bad pass, and that also, I think, then made it harder for us to try to be able to win it back, because then he stepped out of the back line. They then played it over the top, played it around him, and then they sort of were on the break from there. Yeah.
And this is why I get so angry, Jack. And I get people say, Dave, we want to be positive. It's good to see us getting shots on goal. Great, great. But the reality is, I want to win games of football. It's all I bloody care about. And I'm sorry, but the only thing that's changed at this club is the management and the style of football. Nothing else has changed. That winning mentality is not there, and I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. And we're probably going to make changes again, whole team for the second 45, when we've got players who are looking to start in 17 days' time, and they're not up to speed. Their finishing isn't up to speed. I'm telling you, I've been worried about this preseason tour, and the more I see it, the more worrying it gets.
Tyler here with a member milestone for you, Nick. He has 14 months as a fan show member. He says, no center backs in and we will get relegated. I'm going back to bed. Can't be asked to watch this anymore. Another Spurs embarrassment and an FU to the fans. Tyler is, I think, just reached, I don't know if he's reached full breaking point, but he's already losing tolerance and he's losing patience in preseason. Let's be honest, Nick. I mean, I think the two most frustrating things are us conceding goals yet again to a team of this sort of quality, but also from just easy sort of, chances for them where they've just taken advantage of one mistake, kind of how West Ham have. And then also Spurs, similar to the West Ham game, creating a lot of chances, but not really doing all that great in the finishing department, which then leaves us a bit frustrated.
Listen, I feel Tyler's frustration. It seeps through my bones at times, particularly in the last 24 months watching this team. All I can say though is, man, patience. That is going to have to be the key word over the next couple of months. We're going to have to be patient. That front line obviously hasn't gelled yet. Of course they wouldn't at this stage. Son has just come back. Madison's new. They will learn to work together. They will get their finishing down. Kulu, I got concerns about, and I think we're all getting there. This point, he continues to look rusty, but he has looked rusty ever since he's come back from injury.
Yes.
He's taken too long to decide what to do once he gets down to the byline, and then he's only really got one trick, it seems like, anymore. He doesn't have the confidence to pull off the moves that he did when he first got to the club.
Agreed.
I'm not sure that can be fixed right now. I really hope it can. But as far as Madison's son Kane, they're going to learn to work together, or who is ever in the number 9 position. That's gonna gel, but we're gonna have to be very, very patient because it's gonna take a couple of months. But you know what? What I'm not frustrated about, Tyler, is 3 individuals who really look pretty sharp right now: Basuma, Destiny Udogie, and Papa Matasar.
Yeah.
And, these guys look like they have something going on. Every move that's gone down the left-hand side through Udogie pretty much seems to have an outlet somewhere. He has an end game, whether it's going to be feed off the sun or send it through the middle down through Basuma or Sar. That seems like a chance is created there, and he knows what he's doing. So I'm pretty impressed with that, man.
Yeah, Papa Matasar, another diamond delivered to us by the Parachichi. And I think that's also maybe a quick reminder to make ourselves maybe a bit happy is if anybody's ever doubted, maybe some of the talent identification of Dom Parachichi, Papa Matasar is another golden egg that is, being shown to us right now. And he is clearly making very good impressions on Postecoglou. Postecoglou had a lot to say about him. It sounds like they're sort of recognizing each other's sort of, I think recognizing each other's papa-ness because I think Papa Matasar, kind of looks at him as a bit of a father figure and then, one recognizing the other. But I don't know. I'm excited to see Daddy Sar be able to fit into this midfield. And it's, in my opinion, making more of an impact than I bet Skip would in that same position because Skip has been, sort of deployed in that number 8. And I think he was doing what Postecoglou was asking him to do, but he wasn't exactly sort of bringing the real, I think, presence in the midfield that we needed like Papa Sar has, I think. For me.
Agreed 100%. You know what, though? I'm not going to get too far into center back issue, but along the right side defensively, I got some concerns there. And I don't know if we have time to be patient enough for Pedro Porro to learn how to be a good defender. He's been involved in 2 concessions in the last 2 games. And I think if Emerson is playing in that position, neither of those goals go in.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But this is the thing though, Nick. I mean, let's go back to where we started though with Emerson was getting pelters for being too solid. Well, some people even thought he was bad defensively, which I think started to read, a little too much into bias. But it felt like, people didn't like Emerson because he was only good defensively. But now we're starting to see that, if you put in someone then that might be a bit maybe more forward thinking, you will concede goals and they might be capable of, not being as sort of defensively sound and as reliable as someone like an Emerson can be.
Mm.
And you
Yeah,
won't always get the
absolutely, man.
perfect fullback. You're going to have to, trade between one or the other.
Mm. Well, we'll see
Yeah.
Emerson this half anyway. Look, I like Emerson. I like Emerson. I think Ange Postecoglou will have to think about that Brentford game seriously with
Or
Porro at right back. But I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to be using Jed Spence anytime soon. So, he's going to
yeah.
have to work with Porro immensely. Them coaches in the background are going to have to work with him. They're going to have to work with that whole back four unit. But it's impossible to do until you get players in that Ange wants in that unit.
Miss Congeniality says, my nieces watch Line City Sailors on Sea Babies.
Yeah, it's basically kids programs, Jack. Programs for toddlers. It's a bit like Blue Peter. I mean, honestly, it's embarrassing. I don't think we've done enough to break them down. Personally, I think too slow, and the fact that we're conceding goals at the other end. We got to remember this is a part-time team. We're
Yeah.
17 days out from the season. This concerns me big time. Look,
Yeah.
some great individual performances out there. Don't get me wrong. Sarr, Basuma, Edoji. I think Romero's been excellent. He's won absolutely everything that's come his way aerially and stuff like that. But, I mean, outside Madison as well, Basuma, they've been excellent. But outside of that, there just hasn't been enough players that have stepped up. You look at Kane, Son, and Kulu, that front three ain't clicking. The whole idea of having the inverted wingbacks is they bring their wingers inside with them, which leaves your wingers one-on-one on the outside. And every time the ball gets to Son and Kulu, they're completely slowing it down. And Kane is then playing on the shoulder of the last defender, waiting for these crosses to come in, waiting for balls to come in across the box, and they're not coming. So by the time they cut in, Kane is already offside, and then he's having to readjust his run, which means they've got nothing to aim for, so they have to pass it back across the middle. That front three is going to have to start clicking very, very quickly. They've only got a few more games of football left, aka Shakhtar and Barcelona, to get that going ready into the season.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hotspur Hippie says it was a good first half, just a tad urgent at the pointy end. And then he also says their brains are going in the way of Ange, but their bodies are still a little Antonio Conte.
Yeah.
He's got a point there, without a doubt.
I mean, though, is it what I'll push back on, though? Is it Conte's fault they're not finishing? And is it Conte's fault that these center backs still are here at this stage? Like, I think Ange is sort of suffering from similar problems that Antonio Conte was suffering from. Antonio Conte was suffering from goals that were being conceded that were a bit ridiculous and were sort of kind of making you scratch your head a little as to how easy that was for the other team to score from just one little move. And then also as well, I remember in Antonio Conte, despite us still being third or fourth, I believe, or maybe even fifth highest scorers in the league, I remember that majority of games, there were plenty of chances that were spurned that Spurs absolutely should have taken and could have maybe made life a lot easier on themselves. So I would maybe say, as much as it's only preseason, I'm seeing actually a lot of similar things that Antonio Conte had to deal with, even though they're different styles of play.
It's very, very similar. Look, Jack, it's not even Conte, the same as Jose Mourinho.
Just similar ailments, similar problems that they're dealing with. Yeah.
There's weaknesses in this team that are just always going to come back and haunt us. And like I've said this before, we're creating a lot of chances, right? And this sort of goes against the notion that everybody's going to chip in with goals. Today shows the case that it's not always going to be the case that everyone's going to chip in with the goals. We've created barely anything for Kane, Son, or Kulu, but the others haven't been able to find the back of the net. And it's sort of like, I've said this before, people go under Conte like we didn't score goals. We were scoring some games, most games, 3 or 4 goals a game. But if you can't keep them out the other end, you'd have no chance of winning. And that's the same things that are coming back to haunt us now. It's not to do with management. It's not to do with anything else. It's to do with the individual quality in certain areas that are just not good enough. And they're always going to hold every manager back. And we're just making Andrew's job even harder. It's a joke. This preseason, with all these teams, getting into Europe ahead of us, they're all starting to consolidate or trying to consolidate it with shrewd business in the transfer market. We're sitting here pissing about. We're on tour with a load of players who may not, be a part of this squad, and we haven't addressed issues to be able to help this manager go forward. But bringing in Postecoglou is supposed to be a new era, an exciting era, something the fans can get behind. But not, I'm telling you, the more this goes on, the less fans are getting fans are starting to become more and more disinterested until that issue's fixed because they know exactly what's going to pan out in the season.
Yeah. It's good to see Ben Kaufman in the chat as well as Chris. A good comment here from Neil Shafton. He says, patience is for a plan. There is no plan here, though. Another transfer window, and we haven't gotten the defense fixed. And this is the second year in a row. No, not patience now. It's a complete failure to fix this squad. That's where I think some people do get a little caught up with the patience part. Is that, are we being
Mm.
patient when it's 2 to 3 weeks, now 2.5 weeks basically left until the first game of the season, 2.5 weeks, and we've gotten all these other signings in, and the most important signings we need are in the defense, and we are seeing it unfold in front of us in these preseason games against cartoon type teams. It does make you ask yourself, like, is it really us not being patient, or is it us just kind of being a little worried that it's going to be the same thing that sort of happened last summer? And who knows, it could end up being another Clement Longley, because that's where we were again left very sort of concerned and disappointed. Was it took forever for Conte to get a center back. When he finally did get one, it was Clement Longley of all players. And even though Dave and I did stick up for him at times, we all knew at the end of the day he wasn't actually what we really needed for the long term to get this back line fixed. So I don't know. Like, I think maybe at first it could have come off as maybe us not being very patient, but now with 2.5 weeks left until the first game of the season against a big team like Brentford, who could be competing for similar spots as us in that league table, it does make you ask yourself, like, we're kind of running out of patience for a reason. And at this stage, it's just more being worried and being
Well,
concerned.
you know what, Jack? I'm going to review and rebut that the
Go
topic
ahead.
of on patience just for a moment there, because I think that if we're talking about how this club does business and with the state of the defense as a whole, I think we've all lost patience a long, long time ago,
Hmm.
and we're continuing to be frustrated. As far as whether our front line is going to gel together with Kane learning how not to drop back the way he used to be, which I will notice that he didn't spend a lot of time, back in the number 10 position in this first half. I think that's a learning curve. If we're talking about being patient about how Kulu and Madison working together, Madison and Son working together, and them all feeding Kane, I think we need a lot of patience right there. We're going to need at least
Yeah.
2 months until something really starts to gel with these guys who we know have talent and we know can work together.
Look, how long did they want me to be patient for? I was told last summer, like, be patient, Dave, be patient. And then all of a sudden, people only woke up to the issues when it was too late to fix. And then you've only got one person that goes and gets the blame, and that's the manager every single time. I'm sorry, but I can't show patience to something when I know that there's areas that have been so obvious that need to be fixed, that should have been addressed to give this manager the best possible chance to succeed. Even now, when we get in the centre-back signing, which we might only get one, by the way, which it should be 2 or 3. It's been that bad last season. It's too
Yeah,
late. It's more relief than excitement. That centre back
it
should
is
have been
relief.
done so that back four can gel together, can form that defensive unit, plus with the carrier win behind them as well. And it comes down to ambition at the end of the day. Now what's going to happen is we're going to enter the season. We already started the season with 4 away games out of the first 6. And we don't have a team that's gelled together. We don't have a backline that's gelled together. And people forget that we're going on 4 away trips in the first 6. And at home, one of them games is against Man United. And I'm sick of being embarrassed. I'm sick of it. Patience works both ways. I've given plenty of patience to this football club. And now I'm at the point, I'm not waiting any longer. It's to the detriment of this football club that they're taking the piss to get this business done. Look, although I speak about Kane, Son, and Kulu having to sort of get to grips with each other and in this system, I get it. But let's be real, lads. Scoring goals at Tottenham has never been a problem. It hasn't been a problem since I've been a kid. Even when we've had Rebrov and Everson up front, but keeping them out is a problem. And that's what's going to come back and hinder us. And I'm just absolutely sick of it. I can't. And the reason why I'm less tolerant is because I want Ange to work so bad. So bad. Because I love the style of football. I love the
Yeah.
manager, etc., etc. My patience for the problems
Just don't
to be
want to see him
fixed.
go out like
Yeah.
the others. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Don't want to see him go out and suffer the same consequences, suffer the same sort of problems that previous managers had. And I think that's also what everybody agreed with, was when even Conte was sacked, was whether you wanted Conte in, Conte out, whatever everybody sort of agreed with. We don't want to see the same manager, though, suffer the same exact issues, the same exact problems that are going to get him sacked eventually. Jacob Anderson, member for 18 months as an elite member as well. Top man, Jacob. And he says, if Kane goes and Spurs don't get at least 2 quality center backs, I'd be shocked if Spurs even finish inside the top 10.
All right, I'm going to jump off. They're about to kick off again. We're seeing Daddy Hoiberg come on. Apparently, there's been a crane collapse about 10 blocks away here too. So I got a bunch of people getting on communication right now. Like I'm going to do something.
You're going to hold down the fort.
I will check back with you guys after full time.
Best of luck to you, Nick.
I think so. Maybe delays.
Good luck.
See you guys.
Nick. Thank you.
Full change for the second half. All them people, if there's a crane collapse, hopefully there's no fatalities or injuries as well. And Jacob, I mean, look, forget about top 10 if we lose Kane and don't sign centre backs. You know, they did. Look, the warnings were there last season. You take Kane's 30 goals out of the team. You take out the winners and equalizers out of the team. That's 22 or 25 points off our tally from last season with the same defense. That puts you just above relegation zone. And people say, oh, you can't use that as a metric. I mean, yeah, you can. It's blatant facts. And I'm just sick of it now. I'm sick of it.
Let's pick out.
Now you're seeing everyone talk about centre backs. Absolutely everybody. So just go and get it bloody done.
Let's make sense of some of these changes. Lots of wholesale changes. I think it's a whole new back four. We have Emerson, Tanganga, Dyer, and Region. Dyer's getting his first minutes of the season. Hoiberg has been brought in. That's good to see. Lo Celso, Richarlison, Monor Solomon. Anybody else I'm missing?
Skip,
Perisic. Header. Oof. Oh, offsides. But yep, it's going to be good. I mean, Lo Celso is actually a bit of.
Richarlison still can't score. He tried to score that, even though it was offside. He still can't score.
It's never fun to see Lo Celso take corners, though. For me, it's just brings back bad memories.
At least he got it off the ground, though, Jacko.
Yeah, how is that offsides? Actually, wasn't he behind them? Whatever. Big up Jacob, though, man. Really do appreciate your support from behind the scenes. Really do appreciate it. And anybody else who does want to support the channel, feel free to do how Jacob has. Grab any membership of any kind. It is a great way to support everything that we're doing here. Waking up at 7:00 a.m. I moved house yesterday for, which has been taking forever. Took 2.5 hours to get all this, streaming stuff set up and everything. So if you do want to support the channel and all of the things that we try to get put out there for you guys, feel free to grab a membership like Jacob has. Big up, my man.
Yeah, big up, everyone.
Monor Solomon playing on the right at the moment.
Interesting.
That's good to see, actually, him given a different test, though, right?
So where's Alfie Devine? Is Alfie Devine not playing then?
No, he's definitely not. I don't see him in there. Emerson. Nice little turn.
Skip. Salzburg.
Ooh, given away by Salzburg. Oh, miscommunication here. Lo Celso misses. Richie! Get in there, baby! Come on, Rich!
Oh, yeah. Come on.
There he is. Big Richie.
All over the pigeon dance. Let's have it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Love it. Come on. 2-1.
Come on, Big Rich.
Up that ball and drives. Look at that.
I mean, this is starting to look like the best. The second half team is just continually looking like the best team. Now, let's be honest. Richie and Lo Celso have just Lo Celso, let's be honest, has just been the most impactful player for the 2 games. It actually might have been headed in. Fair play to him. Actually wrote it off. Good work by Lo Celso. Whoever won that ball back as well was Lo Celso, I think, and Region were the one putting the pressure there. Well done to them.
Come on. Hopefully
great
everyone
impact.
got in on the pigeon dance.
Sir!
Oh,
good composure, Regs. Good composure, Reggie. There you are. Hoiberg. Perisic even giving Reggie.
Salzburg. Zinedine Salzburg.
Oh, Saucy and Emo.
Tanganga's on the right side, which is good.
He's wearing a headband, or he maybe had a head injury of some kind.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Jack, did you see the pictures of everybody at Dyer's wedding? I mean, Yeah,
I
honestly,
wasn't
the Dyer
invited, so I
commentary was
wouldn't
a
know,
joke.
actually. I think Dyer made a very special request that we weren't invited to his wedding.
Oh, Reggie.
Or
No, Perisic.
Perisic, top of the box, Lo
Lo Celso.
Celso.
No.
Højbjerg, back
Osberg.
in Perisic. Oh, picked
Oh.
away. FC second half, says Neil Shafton. Absolutely right.
Same as we were under Conte.
Big up Tottenham LSG. I'm very jealous, my friend. Very jealous. Enjoy that beer.
Crack it open with a pigeon celebration. Oh, penalty! Penalty! Penalty!
Oh, I didn't get to see it.
It's a bloody penalty. He's took Regulon out after he's crossed the ball. He's starting to get him sharp, by the way. That's the third overlapping run he's done. Bursting.
So I'm telling you, I think people really were overlooking also the contribution he made going forward against West Ham. I thought he was very good going forward. Yes, he's also going to be weak defensively, maybe like Porro, but we'll find out if he can actually be more reliable, I guess. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Reggie, I think, has the legs too, more than even Sessegnon does. He has that pace. Foul by Højbjerg.
Paul O'Connor says, but to be honest, the second team might seem better. But to be honest, if the Sailors haven't changed the whole 11, they're playing a team that's more tired. Yeah, absolutely spot on.
Similar to maybe West Ham in that regard too. You have to take it with maybe a tiny bit of a grain of salt. Ball behind Reggie though, getting caught out.
Bobby K says, don't know what's more shocking, Richie scoring or where is it?
Or him being onside.
Yeah, or him being onside. Love it. Love it. And then who else? Mohit Menon says, midfield has to be Giovanni, Lo Celso, Matters, and Basuma. Yeah, look, I think the rumours were coming out sort of before the game that Ange Postecoglou was happy with Lo Celso and has persuaded him to stick around. Ollie Skip trying to get on one there. But yeah, apparently he's persuaded him to stick around. And so, you know, what does that have mean for Ndombele going forward? Let's wait and see. But, you know, interesting. Look, to be fair to Lo Celso, he's had 2 direct impacts in both games so far. It's a long throw. Richie with the overhead. Oh, go on.
Oh, Richie! Oh, this is what we're looking for, baby. That's the impact. These are the goals. Oh, Dave, we might be having the opposite conversation. Can Richie replace?
Let's have them. Go on, let's give it to me.
Richie, come on, score a hattie, my man. Score a hattie. He could have if he gets another, it'd be a hat trick in 10 minutes.
Hat trick of pigeons. I mean, that's too much. It's not even 2 o'clock.
Love this. He's taking advantage of the mistakes right now. He's just being a true poacher. It's a
long throw in. City Sailors struggle to deal with it. Poor header by the player back to his goalkeeper. Richie reads it.
Well
and
done,
a great
Rich.
little header into the bottom corner by Richie. Look at that. Anticipation. Pigeon widgeon. Look at that. Oh, you love it.
Mistakes galore from this City Sailors back line.
Just there must be on the Lucas say it's same as me, Jack. Not only do you get 100% energy, it's 110%.
So how much do you read into them being tired or anything? Because Tyler is saying it's a bit embarrassing that the first team can't make them look this bad when the second half team can.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. Look, it is embarrassing. You look how quickly we're moving the ball. And Jack, what's the biggest
It's
thing?
only been like 6 minutes, Dave. It's only been like 7 minutes. Like, are they really that tired, like the City Sailors team? Like, you know, they could be. They could be a bit more tired, but it's not like it's been 30 minutes, you know, in, and now we're unleashing the goals or something.
No,
right?
What I will say, though, is sitting behind the ball and moving side to side like that.
It's so tiring.
It's absolutely draining. It's so tiring. You got to remember, these aren't at Premier League levels, so their fitness levels are nowhere near it. I'd say they are absolutely tired. Look, it was the same last week against West Ham, right?
Are you seeing more effort from this team, or what, or something? Like, are you just seeing more effort from the second?
Yeah, crosses into the box. They're not hesitating to do it.
Good switch of play from Perisic. Mo.
Well
done, Skippy won it.
Salzburg. Good ball into Lo Celso. Oh, great ball. Perisic.
Get into the box. Whip it in.
Ball into the box.
Richie! Almost had the hat trick.
Jack, that's the difference. Balls into the box first time, quickly. Get them in there. Let them go and attack it. One stage in the first half, the ball went out to Sonny. He had 4 players running in there, and he didn't cross it.
Dark Sun G says, now hopefully Richie can have a great season. Come on, new Spurs. Dark Sun G, you and I both love Richie, but he's
I
definitely
want to know, did
been
he do
he's
the
definitely
pigeon?
been a hard one to love, especially after the last game against West Ham. He's definitely a hard one to love. And we've been big Richie apologists, I think you and I, Dark Sun G, but I'm glad to see him, already just sort of I don't know, like he had a lot of attention after that West Ham game, sort of rightfully so. But
Yeah.
now the attention will not be on him in any bad way whatsoever. Now that he's sort of gotten off the mark so quickly, it's good to see Dark Sun G. It's really good to see. And also, to be fair, the difference between him and Kane is that Kane is a bit. Ooh, Perisic taking a big. Another mistake here. Lo Celso, sir.
How's he not blowing that? Oh no.
Ball over the top here. Tanganga.
We'll come back to you in 1 second. Dark Sun G.
1-on-1.
He's running that Jaffet. Dyer standing off again.
Cleared away by Emo. Well done, Emo.
Well done, Reggie. Well done. Good defending. Dark Sun G, though, brother. Let me know, did you explode into the pigeon celebration? I need to know, my man. Also, how's life been treating you? How you been, my man? Good to see you in the building. And hopefully we can get more pigeon celebrations in together this season.
Actually, a lot of people are saying that the City Sailors have made a lot of changes, Dave. They made 7 changes. So really, the second half team maybe is just making a much more of an impact, you could say, just straight away. 7 changes. Højbjerg into Richie. Love it. It's moving so quickly here.
Oh, good ball.
Reggie. Beautiful cross. Into Lo Celso. Lo Celso. Oh. Yeah, Dave, it's just been the crossing and the movement so much quicker.
It's just getting the ball into the box. This is what I was saying with Harry Kane in the first half. He's making them runs off the last shoulder. Kulu and Son kept on pulling it back inside, which meant he was offside, which meant they had to pass it back across. You watch this half, it's going down that side. It's one touch, it's into the box.
I think I'd mostly agree with you, but I would say on at least one occasion, Harry was absolutely just lazily offside on at least 1 or 2 of them. Because the one where Sonny squared it to him, I think he was just blatantly offside before Sonny even picked it up.
But a lot of the times, lad, when Son and Kulu are getting the ball and they're cutting inside, if you're a striker and you're purposely asked to play on the last shoulder, which is what they're asked to do by Ange Postecoglou, then crosses have to come in. If you pull it back, that's where you're.
They weren't crossing it in nearly enough. They weren't crossing it in nearly enough.
You've got 4 or 5 players running in there. You got to hit that ball first time and cause chaos. When you pull it back, it just the whole angle is off. It's detrimental, and that was the difference. Too safe playing it across in front of them. This time we're asking questions, and Richie's benefiting from it. Balls into the box. Richie's playing off the last shoulder, and he's there.
Perisic. Like the relationship between Perisic and Reggie right now.
You could see Kane getting frustrated with Kulu in the first half, and Sonny, he said it to them, you could see him gesturing towards them, get it across. Wow, good ball,
Perisic and Reggie just combining so well.
Another good ball. Oh, I like Reggie on down this left jack.
His crossing is, I think it's his best attribute, is his crossing, Reggie. It's always on the money.
Paul O'Connor, remember for 1 month, big yourself up, brother. He says, I think Ange is going to play a mix of 2 teams for the start of the season. He might not play the full first team together just yet. I think you will see actual starting lineup against Barcelona. Do you know what on that, Rob or Paul? I do think the first half team is more or less where he's looking at being in and around with a couple of changes. I think at right back, you might have to bring Emerson in. Left back, that's still up in the air between Adoji and Porro. And then that number 8 spot, Lo Celso or Papa Matasar for me. But I think the rest sort of make the starting lineup, if you ask me. But big up, Paul. Can't wait to do the Spurs story with you, my man.
Shags, I think it will have to be on Paramount or it would have to be on Spurs Play. That's the best I can advertise for you, my friend. I think Spurs Play is pretty expensive. I wouldn't even know if I could tell you or advertise to you if it's worth it. I know people have called me a Levy shill, but he's not being, he's not paying me to, promote Spurs play, unfortunately. But Hack Shags, I think Paramount Plus on cable. I'm not even sure if it's on the actual app. From what I can tell, it's more on cable. And then if you don't have that, then I would say try out Spurs play, my friend. Big up, Axe Shags. And then Paul O'Connor, it's been good to have you with us, for this time, my man. And thanks for grabbing the elite membership. And for me, I think Ange's learning a lot from having these two different squads. I think Lo Celso is somebody that can't be ignored. I think Perisic as well, as much as I kind of thought he doesn't want to be here, he's made great impact in both games. Region, I feel like there's just a bit of, like I've said it before, I think there's a bit of this revisionist history around Region where I'm not saying he's the greatest left back that's ever played for Spurs or anything like that, but I do feel like he's a lot better than people remember him for. And what we're seeing right now is Reggie has actually developed two good relationships in his appearances with both Solomon and Perisic. He was brilliant with Solomon, and now he's brilliant with Perisic.
Yeah, spot on, lad.
Oh, here he is, Reggie.
Can he get across corner kick?
It's just the overlaps that they're doing with each other. It's like they're switching positions. You'll see Perisic drop deep, then Region, running behind. It's really nice to see. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's absolutely killing them. Perisic with the corner kick. It's a short one to Lo Celso. Changing the angle. Back to Perisic. He plays Lo Celso on side. This one looks like it's been working training ground. Looked like a training ground routine there. Lo Celso picks it back up again. Can he get across? He does. Well done. Well worked between him and who's that? Perisic down this side. Very well worked. Another corner kick to Tottenham. I'd say this one will go into the mixer. Hot sauce, Peri Peri. Can he get the hot sauce delivery? Way over hit. It's picked up at the back post by Solomon. Solomon again. He's starting in. It's a good ball. It's a good ball. Lo Celso. Jaffet. Oh no, what's he after doing? He's after injuring himself by taking a heavy touch. So what happens when your touches are sloppy? You invite them challenges. It's going to be a sore one as well. Right on his ankle. Skippy. Gone out wide to Salzburg. Ball out to Solomon. Solomon starting to get into the game now. Cutting inside all the way across to Lo Celso. Get it all the way out to the left. It's beautiful. Oh! Perisic tries to tuck it in first time behind for Regulon, and it's dealt with by the City Sailors. Kamikaze says he's watching on Paramount Plus on PC and mobile app. What an absolute legend. Rishi's asking where Endon Belly is. My man, he wasn't included in the squad again today. Regulon. Lo Celso. Great ball in behind to Richie. Oh, just couldn't get it controlled. He probably could have passed it and laid it off, but he wins it back. It's gone out for a throw-in. Better touch there from Richie, and he could have made something happen. Throw into City Sailors. Darren Caban says Reggie should be kept. Celso, Young still need two centre-backs. One more in midfield and sort out the Kane situation. Hell of a lot left to do in this window, Darren. Hell of a lot left to do, my man. And we don't look like in any rush to do it. It's another corner kick here for Tottenham Hotspur. Perisic on the delivery again. Peri Peri. We don't want to overhit this time. We want it straight into that mixer. Between the 6-yard and boundary area. It's a good ball in. Richie up. Just gone over. Skip wins it. Richie back outside. Richie with the hat trick. Oh, it's offside. It's offside. Oh, hold the pigeon celebrations. Do not strain your neck muscles. It is offside. Skip with the header in. Yeah, Richie is. He's about 3 yards offside. So hold that now. Hold the next celebrations. Don't strain any muscles yet. Got to save it for the hat trick.
Kamikaze says Perisic is cooking. What have you seen from Perisic, Dave?
Be brilliant. Everything that's just come up to him. It's one touch, good balls into the box, linking up with Regulon, making sure his pass has been good. Skip.
Oh, beautifully weighted.
Go on, Solly.
CMO.
Monster.
Ah!
Oh!
See you later.
Oh,
Oh, gets it
gosh.
away. Beautiful bit of skill there.
Salzburg, Emerson. Go on. Look at Reggie. He wants it. See
Oh, Lo
Reggie submit that most
Celso,
good ball, but Lo Celso.
gorgeous.
Madison Munson.
Reggie,
Oh,
gorgeous. Or Solomon, sorry. God, Solomon must have learned that from Mr. Harris.
oh, lads.
One of the old
Great.
school
He just,
tricks there. He's
oh,
pulled that back in time. He's gone back in time with that one.
it's how you do it, lad. You know, he sent him for Weetabix. Brilliant move. It's like doing a U-turn in a one-way zone, Jack. It was
Ooh.
ridiculous.
Reggie going for, showing off the technical skill right in front of the manager there.
Jaffe doesn't want to give it to Moon Boots. I don't blame him. Skip. Into Salzburg. Let's go. Come on, Zinedine.
Oh, love
Into the
that.
South
Love how
side,
he
back
faked that
Zinedine.
pass as well. He's going these no looks right now, Salzburg.
Go on, Reggie.
He's
Oh,
hitting
gives
us
it
with the
away.
no looks.
Head
He
on
got
the
stuck
cheek.
there. He got stuck.
Yes.
He got stuck.
Hit the ball.
Oh,
Hit the ball. Jesus Christ. He's dying for a hat trick. Richie is dying for it.
Dark Sun G with a super chat. Big up, my man. He says Perisic is better as a winger. Reggie and Udogie are the left backs. Dark Sun G. Last season, I was probably a bit too harsh on Perisic at times because, I hold the itches to a very high standard. And I just felt like he wasn't really doing it for me defensively. And you know me, I very much value sort of defensive players. That's why I'm such a big fan of Emerson and what he can bring to us. But I feel like you can't ignore what Perisic does just with that ability with his crosses in the wide areas. He's just effective. And he is a bit of I wouldn't even say he's like a one-trick pony, but he does sort of the same things where he just does the same sort of step overs, the same sort of kind of hesitations, but he can either cut inside on that right or he can cut inside on that left, and he can whip in a good cross with both feet. He's just a very effective player. And him and the left wing in this sort of system where he's kept, where he's being asked to keep the width, it actually does suit a lot of his strengths. And maybe we didn't get to do that as much last season with him as a left wing back as much as we would have liked.
But look, I said it I said it last season. What do you want from your left wing backs and stuff like that? We can all sit here and harp on and moan about his defensive responsibilities. It's not why we brought him in here. We brought him in here to be better going forward than Session. Yeah. Some people also said better than Regulon going forward. So for me, I get because of the system he was in and what he was asked to do, why there was criticism of him there. But for me, I said even if he did leave, he's done his job. He's came in here, 12 assists, 13 assists. You know what I mean? He's done his job. And, look, it'd be interesting to see whether Ange Postecoglou keeps him, Dark Sun G. But he's given us a lot of food for thought at that left wing spot, and if Solomon can adapt to the right here, which looks like he's comfortable on, it definitely leaves room for Perisic to be squad option. Pulls it back to Lo Celso.
Richie! That trick from the Richie.
Oh my God, unbelievable. What a ball by Lo Celso, by the way.
Oh, he's just
Richie
been saucing Lo Celso, rising like a big pigeon, jumping up for the early fry.
Early bird catches the worm. Oh, it's offside. Don't do it.
Shiza.
Everywhere.
Over celebrated for that one.
I've done 4 pigeons today, and only 2 of them have been onside.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna have to get used to that, Dave. Embarrassing ourselves with the pigeons, preemptively. That's for sure. And then Reggie and Udogie is left back. I completely agree, Dark Sun G. I'm both. Ooh, a little sketch there from Tanganga. On Udogie, I was a little confused when everybody was sort of saying he won't make it as a left back. He's only a left wing back. I just sort of thought like, yeah, maybe he'll have his struggles, but he has all the physical attributes to suggest that he would be able to be a pretty good left back. He's tall, he's strong, he's quick, and he also is a really good ball carrier and is very good going forward. So you sort of think, maybe he would be all right going, as a left back. And he's not bad in the air, as we can tell. So I always thought that was a bit strange that people were so steadfast on him only being a left wing back. Maybe they just wanted him back in Italy. But as well with Region, I just think just a gorgeous cross.
Off the post.
Exhibit A right there, Dark Sun G. Region, his crossing ability, I think, has been forgotten. With Sessignon, we were watching him being unable to get it past a League 2 defender. He was constantly knocking it into a League 2 defender's nuts or is into his chest pretty
Legs.
much every time. Whereas Reguilon can actually whip in a good cross. It's nice to see. It's really nice to see.
Richie.
Oh, lovely.
Out to
Hold
Reguilon.
up.
Get it out there, Lacelso.
I
Along
don't
the
know what that
ground.
was.
It just has to be along the ground. It's a simple ball like that. But Dark Sun G, you're spot on. Look, I'm happy with the options down that left-hand side. Don't see it as a weakness at all, my man. And then 2J underneath. Oh, I think he's put it in a super chat. I was going to get to it anyway. But big up, 2J. Really appreciate it, brother. And he says, I'm just going to have a very hard time choosing his first 11. The second team is cooking again. We still have Ndombele and Bentancur to come back.
Interesting.
Bentancur, look, he'll definitely be a part of the plans. And look, for me, it's going to take him a little while to sort of hit the ground running and get past that huge injury. He's going to need a few games. Ndombele, though, 2J, I'm not convinced on, I'm not convinced on it. I'm not sure that Ange is sold on him either, because I just don't understand why he hasn't seen any minutes whatsoever. That was the whole idea of bringing the guy on preseason tour, so we could get a look at him, get some minutes into his legs, and see how he's going to fit into this system, but also see how committed he is. And to not see him feature at all, very, very disappointing. And I'm not sold on him now staying.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. With Tanguy, I think, just a moment here. Poor touch. Skip, another opportunity. I think with Bentancur, it is going to be a team that's going to start cooking that midfield. The midfield options are really deep, and you can tell that they are, and it's nice to see, especially with how good Papa Matasar looks. We can really tell how deep the midfield.
Going to be brilliant at transitioning the ball back there. So calm on it.
And if Lo Celso is really into it, and we keep getting this version of Lo Celso, it's going to be hard to leave him out of the team. It's going to be hard to leave him out of the team. So I think
it looks like Ange's keeping him.
It's good signs right now for me.
He's been
too,
brilliant
Jay.
again today in the Celso, Jack.
Yeah, I think he's just but it's like against West Ham for me, where from the moment that the ball was kicked, he just starts running the show. Yeah. And I know Madison, I think, also had a much better game than he did in his first match against West Ham, but
yeah,
you still feel like the way Lo Celso, it's more like it's like a metronome with him. Like he's actually like keeping things like going and creating chances more for others. Where Madison felt like maybe more he was going to grab a goal.
Yeah.
Like he was really good going forward and trying to maybe pop up in the right areas to score. Whereas Lo Celso is just linking everybody together. Yeah. That's what's kind of what makes him, I think, impressive.
But you know what? The Jack, Dark, Sun G, and 2J, do you know what's great about it, and everybody else out there? This is what we've been crying for some time, about having options in certain areas, right? You look at right back. I get people get frustrated about Porro defensively. I get it. But him and Emerson are two great choices to choose from. Reguilon and Edozie, two good choices to choose from. In the midfield, not only are you relying on the same two, sort of, which we were last season, you've got options there now in the midfield. With Madison coming in, if we end up keeping Lo Celso, with Papa Matasar coming to the fore this preseason, there's options there. We've now got options up in the forward area. Salomon puts back to Lo Celso.
Lo Celso!
Yeah! 4-1. Lo Celso bags another on preseason tour. And that's just by getting into the box, arriving in there late, arriving in there at perfect time, and well done. 4-1 to Tottenham. But it's great to have all these options. Now, let's create damn options at centre-backs, and we're good to go.
Absolutely. Big up 2J. And I think he was saying, isn't Ndombele injured, though? I think Dave and I might be getting a bit ahead of ourselves, where it could be an injury that is keeping him back, but it also could be the case that he did have an injury for maybe a day or two, but now, since then, he's not exactly made the impression with Ange that he would like to. It could be the case, though, that it is maybe more of a serious injury than we've been led on to believe, but we haven't been given a lot of information on it. And everybody sort of said to Jay that he would be back within a day or two. No one thought it would be this long that he would be sort of gone. And he's been training. I
question the injury, though, Jack, because he was in training.
And he's been in training. Yeah, correct.
And it's not like he was just doing running or exercise work or anything like that. He was actually playing in training. So I question how badly he is injured. Spence not getting any minutes as well. It's sort of, there's a few players on this tour who just haven't received anything, and looks like they could be surplus to requirements if I'm reading into things. Look, I'm not against, Ndombele still has time, Shakhtar Donetsk, Barcelona. I'm just surprised we haven't seen him at all.
With Spence, yeah. I think that's but you have to read it the same way, right? The fact that we haven't seen Tanguy, or we
Yeah.
keep speculating that we haven't seen Spence, right? That means maybe Spence isn't making a great impression. So you kind of have to apply that same logic probably to Tanguy in
Yeah.
some way. Because Spence also technically has had an injury, supposedly, that he's been kind of recovering from. He had a surgery.
Let's wait and see what happens. We'll know more anyway, once we come back from the tour, what Ange
It's
wants to
hard.
work, what he doesn't, because we have to understand not everyone's going to stay, right? We've got 30 odd players on tour. You have to whittle that squad down to 25. So, Richie, you have
It's
to whittle
hard.
that down to 25. So some players have to go.
It's hard to do better than what Lo Celso has been doing right now, too, Jay, for me. It's really, like, I think Ndombele is going to struggle to do better than what Lo Celso has been doing.
And look, sometimes it's about timing, right? Unfortunately, injury to Ndombele, but the reality is it was always going to be him and Lo Celso competing if one of them wanted to stay around. And, fortune's favoured Lo Celso. He hasn't picked up an injury and he's been out there and he's availed of his minutes, Sometimes timing can screw you in football, and it just looks like that may be the case coming with Ndombele.
Evan McCabe saying Ange has convinced Lo Celso to stay. Did anybody
Yes.
see that coming? I did not see that coming at all. I thought Lo Celso would be one of the first out the door.
I got a bit of an inkling after the second half against West Ham that he might want to look at him a bit more. I think we spoke about in the post-match reaction actually that day, which by the way we'll be doing again today. Well, I sort of spoke about in the post-match reaction that I think Ange might say to Daniel Levy, hold on, let me have more of a look at this guy. And just before the game today, I was just checking out some news, and apparently Ange Postecoglou wants him around, and he's agreed to, he spoke with Lo Celso and he's agreed to stay.
Perisic out wide here.
Perry delivering the hot sauce. It's a good chip in.
Oh, here we are. Reggie!
I want something to fall to Manor Solomon so bad.
I need that ammo goal.
Who else have we got here? 2J says Roden hasn't got a look in either. Absolutely spot on.
But I think that's because he hasn't shown enough.
Started. Who's back there now? You've got Tanganga and Dyer back there as the centre back now. Alex Delarga says Lo Celso has the confidence of the manager, and the manager is using him in the right way. And then we also have Laps says, I need a Lo Celso redemption. I'll be sure. Finally, the South American flair. And then Paul Young says, do you think Richie can lead the line this season? No, I don't think so. Don't get me wrong. Delighted he scored a few today, and he was in the right places against West Ham. I'm just not sure that finishing is there on a consistent basis like it is with Harry Kane to lead the line of a club at the top six. Being brutally honest, you got to remember at Everton, he had help. It was always rotated between him and Calvert-Lewin, so even Everton didn't trust him to lead the line the whole time.
Not a good sign. I just realized that Moonhead is wearing the captain's armband.
Jim, we knew this was going to happen.
I didn't, I was having actually a pretty good time until I saw that, but
we knew
try
it was
to ignore it. I'll try to ignore it.
Oh,
Emo!
Emerson.
Somebody, where's the back post? Who's there?
Nobody. I do like it. Does look like we're starting to work on a couple of the set pieces. Like, the set pieces coming into the near post. Everyone seems to be attacking it. A couple of short routines as well to mix it up. I like it.
Michael says, by the way, Richie's header for a hat trick wasn't offside. Ref made a mistake. Bit of a Forrest situation.
Just doesn't. It goes to show. It doesn't matter where you go, right? They're always going to make mistakes. Referee screwed us today, though. Should have a penalty in the first half as well with Kulu.
Yeah, at first I made fun of ourselves for getting a penalty in the last steps, first half to make it not as embarrassing. But to be fair to us, we probably had two actual penalty shouts that were more real before that. So maybe it was just sort of the referee making up.
Martin says Solomon got to be ahead of Kulu, as Solomon does something different every time and Kulu just goes inside. And that's the thing, Martin. You look at this second half between fullbacks and the wingers. In fairness, every time the ball's got out to them, they've used it. The Celso people in midfield have done their job, right? Get the ball out to them in space. And all they do is one touch, get it in the box, let people go and attack it. And that was the difference to the first half. I felt like Kulu was trying to bag a goal for himself, being selfish because he wants to get off the mark. I feel like Sonny was also trying to do the same because Sonny's playing catch-up, and it just hinders everything when it's that slow and they're coming back inside to try and unleash shots every single time. They didn't mix it up. It took us, 44 minutes for Ben Davies to swing a ball in behind that defence, which I was calling for, and Kulu should have buried it. So it's sort of like, that's the whole difference this half, Martin, is that we're just using the ball so much more quicker and so much more effectively. And by doing that, Richie's bagged the brace. Should have had 4 goals, 2 offside.
Corner for the Sailors.
Just defend this. Don't do anything stupid. Oh my God. Straight down into a path. I'm sorry, but who's telling Skip to leave that? Skip could have left that. He didn't have to header that. It's gone over everyone's head. Why didn't he just leave it? It was going out for a goal kick. Who's speaking to him?
Yeah, Reggie was right
things
there.
Like that at the back. And then what Skip ended up doing? Straight down into one of the part. Oh, Emerson.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Skip to Solomon. I'm dying for Solomon to score. Moon boots. Move the ball.
Emo coming short.
Oh, my God. It's a shit pass. Oh, my God. Lord.
Misses the tackle.
Yeah, Mr. Captain.
And someone's showing him how it's done. There you go. Well done, Reggie. Well done, Emo.
I mean, if he's doing that against City Sailors, fuck me, we're in trouble.
We do have that recovery pace with Reggie, too. Maybe he's not even a great defender, but that is that recovery pace that you get with him, too. Tanganga here.
Don't start slowing the ball down, boys. Don't start doing it. There's no need. What is he waiting on? Someone to come 5 yards to him to take the bloody ball off him.
Oh, lovely first time.
Davies in the first half had the audacity to pass it.
Lovely first time from Perisic. Not that time.
Richie. He clatters him. Ah, come on, ref. Let him away with it. Give him one at least. Bodies. Richie just wants to smash people now. I wonder if these South American players have a bet. And, do they up each other? It's like, oh, I get 12 smashes today. Oh, I fancy 13. And then it's like, right, you said 13 out, you go and do it. Saucebar keeps it moving. Lovely ball out to Reggie. Reggie with a great ball in behind.
There you are.
Perry.
Skin him.
Too hot, too spicy. What can he do?
Oh, see you later.
Great ball.
Oh,
who's there?
Maybe not.
Emmerco. He can't help
Such a house. He's such
He
a
can't
house.
help it. Lo Celso. Give it to Emerson.
Oh, love that.
Oh,
Oh, love that. Solomon. Oh. I don't think Solomon could stick his foot out fast enough for the ball. Maybe it was a bit too in front of him.
Emerson can't help but do step overs and shit. It's brilliant.
Speaking of that South American flair, Marcelo's in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. And he
Big
says
up,
we
Marcelo.
need that South American flair back. I completely agree, my friend. I completely agree. Good to see you in here, brother.
Great to see you, Marcelo. Hopefully you're keeping well, dude. Hopefully life is treating you well. You're still in the gym, let me know. But look, I like the South American mentality, my man.
I think they've been changing the
They
mentality. They've been
about
making
winning.
it better. Yeah,
They care about winning. First and foremost, if they need to dig in and battle to win, they'll do that. But they can also play, which I love about it. They get it. You have to do both sides of the game to win.
In my opinion, Marcelo, I think Emerson, Richarlison, Romero. I know I'm missing somebody here as well. Bentancur. I think some of them guys, especially last season, had some of the better attitudes, I think, in the whole team, especially Bentancur, especially Emerson. And I think Richarlison comes from those humble beginnings and has that sort of, self-understanding that, a lot of players also need too. Richarlison just always gives his all on the pitch whenever even if he's playing shit, at least he's given his all when he's on the pitch. And I just think a lot of these, South Americans have actually been really making the mentality for the better. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then we also have Brandon Troller. Big up, Brandon. Hopefully you're keeping well, my friend. He says, sell Kane, sign 2 starter level center backs, give Richie a half season to prove himself at striker, and fall onto Son if it fails before January, and then sign Balotelli as the backup. He's always got to fit the characters for sign Balotelli in there. Absolutely love it. But just a moment here, Brandon. Lo Celso creating a good chance for Perisic. Perry.
Too spicy.
Another corner for Spurs. Brandon, I mean, he's been won over by this Richarlison performance, Dave. He's feeling the Richie. He's probably done too many pigeon celebrations. It's not even 10 o'clock yet here in New York, and he's already done maybe 4 or 5 pigeon celebrations. And I think he's getting some confidence in Richarlison, and he's feeling like getting 2 starting level center backs with that Kane money. I think you and I both disagree, but what would you say to Brandon, maybe considering how well Richie's played today or anything? And also, I mean, just tell him also why maybe you disagree.
Look, first of all, with the Kane money to buy 2 centre-backs, I'm not even entering that discussion. And it's nothing to do with you, Brandon, whatsoever, man. It's just the fact that last summer it was obvious we needed centre-backs. We brought in Langley and loan. It came back to haunt us like I predicted. So I'm like, okay, January window, go and do it. They didn't do it, and then we were told 2 centre-backs in the summer of a required standard. Now, I'm still sitting here this summer, and I'm still waiting for them. So if they're telling me in January 2 centre-backs to come in here, then they have the money for them. Shouldn't have to sell your best player in order to fund that move. So for me, and plus, we've been told Harry Kane, if he likes the project and he's convinced by the summer business, there's a chance he'll sign on the dotted line. So the club should be bringing in the centre-backs to convince them that this is the place for him and his future. If we don't do that, he ain't signing. Why would he? When he knows that no matter what he does at one end, it's going to be counted down the other end by crap. You've already seen Dyer here in this second half. Straight away goes to play, plays himself into trouble. What did Ben Davies do in the first half? First time he went to play, plays himself into trouble. And things like that ain't going to change. We've got to remember, with Richie, I'm delighted for him today. Don't get me wrong. We're playing against City Sailors. We're not playing against Man City. We're not playing against Premier League opposition, which is where it matters, which is where it counts. We're playing against City Sailors, part-time. Honestly, I'd score a hat-trick out there today, being brutally honest, especially with the chances, being put on in this second half later on. I'd score a hat-trick. But it's good that Richie's scoring. It's good for us going into the season if we can have 2 firing. Why can't we keep Kane, sign centre-backs, keep Richie, and have everyone playing handball? It's what we want.
At the end of the day, Richie was supposed to be that competition for Kane that Kane never really had. And he was also supposed to be that alternative, to bring onto the pitch. And also maybe to sort of like, an extra threat. Sometimes Kane might benefit from just having another striker right next to him instead of always having maybe different wingers and creative midfielders sort of next to him. Having that extra striker is, I think, often what we needed. And if we're then to just sort of, give the reins to Richie the following season, I don't think that was probably the original plan. I do believe Richie was sort of brought in, technically in case things were to maybe happen with Kane, maybe an injury of some kind, but it's possible that Spurs did not envision Richie to be taking over for Kane that quickly, as the main man. I don't think that's how they originally saw it. But I agree with you. If it had to be that way where Kane were sold, I'd consider throwing Richie in the beginning, and then if it failed, I would try Sonny actually probably more as a number 9, and then try someone else actually on the wing to be honest, to see if you can fill in the goals that way. But for me, Brandon, I'm not in the sell Kane department right now. I haven't been all summer. I don't anticipate to be one, but who knows? Maybe that penalty might have been the last time, we saw Harry Kane, scoring the goals for Spurs. You never know. You never know, my friend.
What I say is, people have to understand as well that some will have to adapt. Playing up to that role without Harry Kane. You got to look into the amount of stuff that Kane and Son do for each other to help each other's game thrive. That's a penalty. Once you take that out, you're looking for a player then to strike up that partnership with other people or figure a way out. It's even if Son went, Kane would have to start figuring things out because he doesn't have that partnership. Them 2 guys, what they do for each other and the stats, you back it up, that what they provide for each other is absolutely incredible. You take one of them away, that's taken out one of the partnerships, and then you're looking at them. They have to come up with something different, or else they have to find a way of playing to make up for what that other player done for them. So
Yeah.
it's going to be difficult. Son has the ability to do it, but it's not going to be straightforward as many people think.
All I can say too after today is that what's nice is that Richie, even though I love getting ahead of myself on things, Brandon, this time I'm not going to get ahead of myself, and I'm just going to say what you can guarantee is that the attention will not be on Richarlison tonight in a bad way, like it has in other
Yeah.
nights. The attention will not be on him about what he can't do, right? Is he good enough, sort of thing. Like the conversations should just be Richarlison, is clearly hungry. He wants to do well. He wants to prove himself. And that's all we can, be hopeful about. And he's trying his best, and that's what we can see today.
Breaking news: Joe Lewis has surrendered to the U.S. authorities after being charged with insider trading. The 86-year-old turned himself into federal authorities in Manhattan on Wednesday morning. A spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office said a day earlier, prosecutors announced an indictment. So basically, Joe Lewis has handed himself in.
If I still lived in Crown Heights, Dave, my missus probably would have found him on the 4 train on his way into Wall Street. But, now she's taking the F train. So I don't think that's, available. So she wouldn't see him, as potentially. But Joe Lewis out in Manhattan. Richarlison! Oh, what a finish! There it is, Dave-O. The fourth. It's the fourth. People have had 4 different pigeon celebrations there, everybody. And the big Richie on the back. Let's get it, boys. Richie, I said, and the attention is not going to be on him tonight in any bad way like it has, I think, in other nights. Great finish here as well.
It's a good ball in behind. Great finish by Richarlison.
Yeah, who did play that ball? Was it Skippy? A nice little flick, or he did a little dummy?
Richarlison does great there to hold off his man and get that finish in a square.
No, I just showed him the weight room.
By Richie. He's back, baby.
He just showed him the weight room, that defender. Who I think Skippy either did a lovely little dummy or he did a nice flick or something to get it into Richie there. Skip's had a much better game, I would say. Been less anonymous. Yeah. Just the whole second. I mean, the second half FC. It's really been.
Come on, hey, Richie. Hey, Richie. Come on.
Antonio Conte's second half FC won't go away.
That's how you do it. Everyone's sitting on the bench. That's how you do it.
This is the scoreline we wanted to see. Didn't want to see us go 1-0 down to be the first one to concede, but,
First half was embarrassing, though. I'm sick of the slow starts. That's something Ange Postecoglou has to
eradicate.
Because it was the same with the West Ham game, right? Started off slow, and he's got to change that. And I know it's going to take time, but he has to get it done quicker than sooner rather than later. Hey, Richie.
Gio in behind here. Lascelles or Reggie or Perisic. Sorry, got them all wrong. Third guess.
Who's gone down now?
Emerson's down.
He's holding his rib cage. Could it be a broken rib?
He doesn't look to be doing too well.
No, he doesn't.
I didn't see it, actually.
Neither did I. Neither did I. Good to see boys, the backup brigade sort of coming in though and doing the job, right? It puts pressure on the guys ahead of them.
That, and what that always tells me too is at least half of them were paying attention when on the bench, because players like Lo Celso each time in the second half have made an impact straight away. Like from their first pass and from their first bit of movements are already breaking down the opposition. Like they haven't even needed to warm up or get into the game at all. Players like Lo Celso. So that just at least tells me, it was Emerson and Skip there with that pass, Dave. Very lovely from both of them, especially Skippy. But I think players like Lo Celso have done exceptional at just making impact straight away. And I don't know if that's just them being, talented or anything. I think that's him just, obviously reading from the bench what needs to be done better. right? What he can do differently that maybe others weren't doing in the first half.
It's also wanting to affect the game. You know, you
Sure.
have to want to get into them positions to receive
Yeah.
the ball in behind the midfield. You have to want to play them passes forward and believe in yourself to do it. You have to want to get into the box like the Celso's doing to get on the teams. It's about want. It's about desire. You know, in the first half, I think basically the team sort of got caught up into we're going to create a lot of chances, we're going to score goals. And I think everyone got a bit selfish.
Maybe so, to be fair. Like Madison did have, I mean, so many shots, but they all just went the same direction, just kind of high and wide and over the bar. That is the end of the match, though, everybody. Richarlison swapping kits yet again. Paul, if you're looking, close your eyes. Close your eyes, Paul. If you're looking, he's kit swapping. Once again,
Right.
serial kit swapper.
It's his first Tottenham hat-trick jersey. You got to keep that.
Dave, I think he just loves a good kit swap, maybe. He just needs, I mean, you have to feel bad for anybody that has to take these kits. I mean, he must have 400 of them at this stage. Like, where does he even put all these kits that he's taken? But Ange Postecoglou grabbing his first win against the Lion City Sailors, 5-1. You would say the second half absolutely, or the second half team absolutely outplayed the first half team. It could also be, of course, maybe from a bit of tiredness. Who knows? Also, too, maybe the City Sailors first team is just far better than their second team. I still feel like maybe certain players like Lo Celso especially just showed that they can, really make maybe more of an impact in certain positions than others have. At least straight away, Lo Celso has maybe been one of the most sharp players, I think, of this preseason. And yeah, I think there are other positives to take. I think Papa Matasar was probably one of the better players of the match, but I don't know. I guess that's what I'll ask the chat right now. Who are the players that maybe impressed you the most, I guess, in the game? Who are the players that are maybe making the best impression on Ange right now? Dave, what would you say after that match? Who's making the best impressions on Ange?
Look, I think Lo Celso's one for sure. The fact that Ange Postecoglou has asked him to stay around. I mean, and then he scored in both games as well. I mean, he's definitely impressing for sure. I think Reguilon was absolutely superb in the second half for us today down that left-hand side. Constant bombing forward, good cross into the box. But Jack, for me, I think our wingers are under pressure, I think they are. You look at Son and Kulu today, they were so desperate to score. They hindered the attacking play because they kept on wanting to come inside with the ball, kept on slowing it down. And under Ange Postecoglou, it's simple. Get the ball out wide. And it was the same with West Ham last week, right? Everyone was trying to cut inside this, that, and the other and popping shots from the edge of the box. Second half, we had more composure. Get the ball out wide, get the ball in behind them, get the ball into the box first time. But also, there was neat 1-2s, people willing to run off each other. It wasn't as static. So for me, I think our wingers are under pressure, You look at Solomon in the second half, okay, he didn't score, but anytime he got the ball down the right, he was neat and tidy with it. Crosses into the box, playing 1-2 is lovely. Perisic down the other side, one touch in the box. You look at Son and Kulu today, I thought they were very, very selfish on the ball. But good for our strikers. Harry Kane gets off the mark, and then Richarlison gets off the mark with a hat-trick as well.
You got what you wanted in the striker department. Harry Kane got his goal, and then Richie his goal.
That's made my day.
Richie getting kind of the
Richie scored a hat trick, but Kane scored has made my day.
Yeah, kind of like both sides win, really. Yeah, both parties win.
What I will say, forward areas, fine, comfortable with. Midfield areas, fine, comfortable with. Centre backs is crucial for this season. They've shown up the highlights of City Sailors' goal again, and it's just unbelievable, mind-boggling giveaway from Ben Davies. And we're talking City Sailors. Dyer went to play out for the first time Dyer went to run out with the ball. He loses it. And them little things there, if we do not get them ironed out, it's going to come back and cost us. Because you've got to remember in these games as well, the preseason, a lot of teams stand offish. It's not really physical. When you get into the Premier League and there's things on the line, teams will press you. It's going to be a lot more physical. So it's going to be a bit of a different game. And that's why that we have to get that defensive team sorted out, because we're not going to have this amount of possession every single week, every single game. There are going to be games where we're going to be put under a bit more pressure defensively than what we have been preseason. And the fact that we've already conceded 4 goals in 2 games, you know what I mean? And we conceded 63 across the Premier League last season. It's only heading in one way. So in order for us to actually go on and have a good season and go into games confident and come out of games with 3 points more often than not, that's the only issue we need to do. So that's a plus in that regard. So just go and get it done. But apart from that, there's a lot of competition throughout the team, and I really like it.
There's a lot of competition across the team that I do really like right now. And what I would say too is that Solomon is making a really good impression. And like you brought up too, all of the wingers are, really competing for each other. And the second half wingers made much more of an impression than the first half wingers did. And you probably brought up too that what the second half wingers did that the first half wingers didn't was actually put in some crosses and actually move the ball quickly. Even if they didn't put in a cross, in the moment, they still moved the ball quickly or took on their man more efficiently and actually tried to create an inch of space or more than that. And you would just say they were more productive, they were more positive, they were more efficient than what Kulusevski and Sonny were. I think Udoji, I think, has more or less solidified himself, I think, as the real left back in this
Yeah.
team. But I would say Region, had,
Good
again, a
backup.
very good game going forward. I think he is going to be suspect defensively still. I think he'll have his moments where you
Yeah.
are going to be left maybe frustrated or scratching your head. But he hasn't really shown to me, at least even when he was under Jose Mourinho, to be maybe as much of a liability defensively as Pedro Porro could be. I think Pedro Porro is still showing that he can have some moments where he's just going to cost you goals, and it could be too many goals, in
Yeah.
fact. And Emerson, I think it's just going to be that sort of. I don't think he's boring, but he is that sort of reliably boring sort of defensive right back that can probably do what we need, to help not chip as many or not concede as many goals. And Region and Udoji can compete as sort of the attacking fullbacks on the left hand side. I would say Basuma was standard and very good again, as the number 6. Be nice to see him be given another shot as a number 8. Papa Matasar again, I think is just. I hope he actually at this rate maybe even
He's
starts.
brilliant.
If he starts even in the first game of the season, I wouldn't blame it. And like I said,
Yeah.
another sort of brilliant delivery, another golden egg from the Don Parachichi that I feel like a lot of people maybe originally questioned or maybe thought wasn't actually a signing that maybe was going to really work out for Spurs. And I think yet again, he's brought in some really talented younger players, Parachichi for us, and Papa Matasar is proving to be one, still only 20 years old. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's still plenty to talk about. But I know Dave actually does have a post match show later that everybody can get
Mm.
stuck into. There's a super chat here from Dark Sun G. He says Richie, Kane, Perisic, Son, Solomon Kulu, Lo Celso, Madison, Sar and Skip, Basuma and Hoiberg, Royal and Poro, Udoji and Regi, Vicario and Forster. These spots are perfect. Center backs are not. We need 4 with Romero. I think he's saying we need a perfect center back for Romero as
Yeah.
well. For the most
Yeah.
part, you see a bit of balance there with what he's bringing up. Perisic and
Mm.
Son, you see that sort of dynamic. Solomon and
Yeah.
Kulu could be an interesting alternative too. Lo Celso and Madison, Sar and Skip, Basuma and Hoiberg. I like that. The issue is Dark Sunji
Mm.
is that Hoiberg looks to be out the door. Harry
Yeah.
Kane might be out the door as well. That leaves a lot of imbalance there. We would have to figure out which players we would then
Mm.
complement Richie with, which players we would complement Basuma with, and
Yeah.
it does leave your head scratching, that's for sure. Also, Bentancur, I guess we haven't even factored in there, which is a good sign for that midfield. I think Dave might have brought that up, just how
Mm.
solid that midfield is looking, and also how much competition is in there. Like if you're wanting to
Mm.
get into this team, your best shot is probably not in midfield. There's very good competition in there right now. But yeah, for the most part, I like that team, Dark Sunji. It's just that 2 of those players right there could be out the door pretty soon, and that would leave us pretty imbalanced.
Mm. And that's the team, Jacko. This is what I'm saying. We're very quick to put monetary value on these players, right? And then very quick to have a go at the board for not spending money on players. So why are we pushing so hard to line up the owner's pockets with even more money? And this is what I was saying with Hoiberg, with Kane. I get it, right? And I understand the other side of the argument. I do. But the whole process and the whole idea of a transfer window is to strengthen your team, not weaken it. You take Hoiberg out, you take Kane out, all of a sudden you're looking a hell of a lot weaker. And you still have to address the centre back situation. This is my whole thing. Why can't we just go and sign the 2, 3 centre backs that's needed to partner Romero and to create competition? And we've got a bit of a solid squad heading into the season with competition right throughout. And it's not like it's crap competition like it's been previous years, right? Where you've had Davies competing with a regular on that left back or something stupid where you have a Doherty competing with Aurier, right? You've got proper competition with proper players who are good, who want to be here. So we should be doing everything we can right now to try and keep Hoiberg, try and keep Kane, and add to that centre back situation and have a real go of it this season for once. That should be the aim. But if you end up losing them two, it's just creating more problems, 17 days out from a season that we just don't need. Oh, I think you're on mute, Jack. Or it might lead us.
Sorry. I think before the match even started, Dark Sun G, we were talking about how it's 2.5 weeks, right, until this, Brentford match, and it's such disappointment to see that the most important signing this summer hasn't been done yet, with only 2.5 weeks left, and they probably might need some of the most time to really gel in. I would think the center backs too, then compared to other positions. I'm not probably an expert on this, but I would think that the center backs do need a lot of time to gel in and to be able to figure out the system, as well as figure out their partner, who would be Christian Romero, figure out their other partners and Udoji, Region, Emerson, etc. So it just seems like we are tying, hands behind our back here with making it this hard on ourselves. That's for sure. But I am excited to see who that center back will be that's going to partner Romero. I think Tapsoba is the perfect combination for him. I'm fine with Van de Ven. I feel like it's maybe a player that I would like to sign on top of Tapsoba, not be the only center back that we sign. But at the end of the day, I do feel like Tapsoba is just the perfect center back that I've actually vouched for at least probably 2 to 3 years now, I think, since he even made his impression over, I think, with Peter Bosch at Bayer Leverkusen, Dark Sun G. So big up to you, my man.
What I don't want to do, Jack, is upset you. I know the Bayer Leverkusen president came out yesterday, and that wasn't reported on until last night, but I got wind of it yesterday during the afternoon. Basically said, look, he's under contract. They're in no rush to sell him whatsoever.
No,
which basically means either come in with a massive fee and take him, or we ain't budging.
No, they're in a position that they don't have to, sort of take anything. I think it would take, and I said originally when we were first going after this signing, I said it might take up to 60 million to get him, 70 million to get him. And I'd be willing to pay that much, but will Spurs? Probably not. Paul Young, before we kind of start wrapping things up, Paul Young says, my first watch along with you guys, highly enjoyable. Big up to Jack and Dave, and great performance. Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate it, my friend. And let me know what your thoughts are, at least in the compare and contrast. I think you got all versions of ourselves. You got the first half version of ourselves, and then you got the second half versions. We're pretty good at happy clapping, but we're also pretty good at, doing our rants and raves as well. So hopefully you got both sides of us. Big up, man.
Big up, Paul, and hopefully we see you around a lot more, my man. Look, we enjoy watching these games. We sit here, we vibe out, chill out, and it's so good to have all of you guys participating with us along with the comments. As you see, we try our best to bring up all comments, which is a great thing. And hopefully you guys do make it enjoyable. But come the season, going to be a bit of a new look to the watch along, new things on screen for you to be able to enjoy the game even more. So stay tuned for it.
Absolutely. Oliver Freeman said, Dave, I watched the whole game this time. I feel a sense of achievement. Big up to you, Ollie. Big up to you, my friend. Good to see you in here as well.
Big up, Ollie Tron. I snuck across for an early morning coffee. I thought it was your van outside. I was like, Jesus, what's Ollie doing here? He never rang me. He's cheating on me. But no, it wasn't you, it turns out, my man. But good to see you, Ollie.
And everybody, do, like I said, a big warning. Do look out, maybe grab a tea, grab a coffee, whatever you need. I certainly need another coffee. But Dave will be going live very soon with another sort of post-match reaction, and we'll be getting some new voices, some new opinions. Probably have grown tired of my voice at this stage, and so it is good to have some new opinions on things about this match and what we can take from it and what we can look forward to for the others. If you haven't already, smash that like button. I haven't asked for that enough, so please do. Maybe you want to check on that, because at one stage I saw that we had well over 300 in the house, but only over 100 likes, which I just think we need to get to 200 at least. Everybody, let's get to 200. But Dave, any final parting words for the Harris Army before we go?
Yeah, look, pre-season tour of Australia and Asia is over and done with now. Now we'll get back. We've still got Shakhtar Barcelona to go, but the serious work is about to begin. We're going to know exactly who will be a part of the plans, who's not, and what we're dealing with going forward. I want to say a massive thank you to you, Jack, as well, for getting up early for these preseason games. Not nice timing for you, especially with everything going on in terms of moving and everything else, but the commitment has been insane. And I want to thank everybody else for tuning in with us today. The choice of tuning in with us. There's a lot of watch-alongs going on all over the place, and the fact that you guys choose here, and you always choose here, it's greatly appreciated as well, along with everyone who's grabbed the channel memberships, helped super chats, which basically helps myself and Jack. We don't have any big wigs behind us, but we're constantly trying to make the best improvements we can. We're constantly putting money into improving the equipment that we've got to make the experience better for you. And there's a lot of changes coming your way. And if you want to help support that, feel free to grab them channel memberships. We've got Fantasy Football League coming. We've got fan shows every single Monday for you guys to have your say. We've got an exclusive podcast for members. We've got Tell Me Your Spurs Story for the elite members, where it's an intimate interview where we follow your sort of Spurs story, how you got in supporting the club right through to this current day and age and stuff like that. So there's plenty of things in their membership. So if you feel like grabbing one, please do. And just thank you to everybody for your support and tuning in.
Everybody, we'll be seeing you. Look forward to Dave's post-match reaction. Stay tuned for that. Grab a coffee, grab a snack, and you will be seeing later for some new opinions on this match, and also some plenty more post-match content, as well as just, plenty of content throughout the week. And we will be seeing you.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Richie hat-trick in the big Ange we
5-1.
trust. Harry Kane penalties. Hopefully it's not the last, and hopefully it wasn't the last Sauceberg performance either. We'll be seeing you, everybody. Come on, you Spurs.